I must've went blind tonight, cause I swear that you out of sight. Man, I'm so up, I could be a pilot, and I just hope trying to catch a flight. So let me get the digits, I call right now if you with it. I seen 1,000 pretty girls in this room, $1 and I've been looking for you. I've been searching, it's so hard to find a girl who's one of a kind. Just being alone just isn't cool. I'll take 1,000 trips around the world just so I could find you, girl. Cause darling, I've been looking for you. Yeah, I'm looking for you. For you. I'm looking for you. For you. Let's get it now. I'm so up, I could be a pilot. Be a pilot, be a pilot. I'm so up, I could be a pilot. Beat. Let's get it now.
Back it up. Let me take it back to the realness. Feel this. Let me take it back to the realness. Feel this. Let me take it back to the realness. Feel this.
Back it up. Back it up.
Let me take it back to the realness. Feel this. Let me take it back to the realness. Feel this. Let me take it back to the realness. Feel this.
Back to the back to the back to the back to the back.
Take it back. Take it back. Back it up. 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 Back it up.
Back it up. Back it up. Back it up.
Take it back. Take it back. Back it up. Back it up. Back it up. Back it up. Let me take it back to the realness. Feel this. Let me take it back to the realness. Feel this. Let me take it back to the realness. Feel this.
Back it up. Back it up.
Let me take it back to the realness. Feel this. Let me take it back to the realness. Feel this. Let me take it back to the realness. Feel this.
Back to the back to the back to the back to the back.
Welcome to the XXL Nutrition HQ. XXL Nutrition is the most popular online supplement brand in Europe. Our proteins, pre-workouts, dietary supplements, and of course our sportswear is developed with the greatest possible care. We are known for providing the highest quality products and the best service. Daily, we are working with a motivated team on new developments, promotions, and quality control to serve our customers in the best possible way. XXL Nutrition is an established name in the B2B and B2C market. Therefore, we can also be found in many gyms, supplement stores, and supermarkets. Offering the highest possible quality is the foundation of our brand. Only the best ingredients and materials are used for our products. Everyone at our company has passion for health and fitness. That's why we want to provide our customers, and of course ourselves, with the best products. We prepare all orders in our own warehouse, which has the capacity to process more than 10,000 orders daily. Thank you for supporting XXL Nutrition. We are XXL, the most popular brand in sports nutrition.
And here, live at the MGM Music Hall in Boston, Massachusetts, we make some more. Welcome to the Rainbow Six Invitational 2025. Are you ready to make history? Game number one begins now! It is Hasa Company Academy! It's unwanted!
Oh, we can't quite see it, the punt.
Oh, it down a beautiful first!
Cyber isn't going to let him just sit on this. Oh, brilliantly played!
It seems like Fury might just have numbers, but they've lost a couple. And Philippe Foxy, the BDS, steal that round for Furia. Things working, a triple for Dream. It's all up to Nate and Philippe Fox now. Numbers in a disadvantage for them. And Nate is on the floor.
Pressurization complete.
First map looks to be locked on to be theirs. Bring out the 1v1.
Unbelievable stuff from the Brazilian! It's all up to
Rene's been here before. He's got to step across. It's all about this 1 versus 1. He wins it out. Rene's going for the plant. Simon's got 3. We're down towards this last 30 seconds.
Better King is manoeuvring here.
Shot in the back again. Shaiko is going up to him. Finally finds himself down now. Users has got a clutch up big.
Andy, let's see if the swing.
The waiting. Soliton's down. Rene's off. He's also down.
Hello and welcome back to Voltage League. I'm Milo, also known as Spicy2, joined by Reprints for an amazing game for us. We've got Diavoli versus the Year of the Snakes. Going into it, what do you see that's interesting about this matchup, Reprints?
Well, I've watched Diavoli a couple of times. Lovingly referred to by our producer as the Muscle Sheeps because of their very beautiful team picture. But they're a very solid Russian core that's been around the block in T3 and T2. They always play a solid basic style of Siege. They have some occasional slip-ups, but they have just individual prowess and individual performance that allows them to sometimes push into T3 events. So it's always a good team to look forward to. As for the other team, Year of the Snake, I think it's a cobbled together team from remnants of other French rosters. I remember casting them once or twice as well. So this is just going to be a battle of France versus Russia.
Always love seeing these two nations battle it out. Obviously, we see it in T1. We're now seeing it in T3. But let's look over the stats to see which players are really standing out on each of these teams. Very excited to see. Obviously, I do think Year of the Snakes may have a slight Edge. That's who I voted for. And the first team looking at will be the Buff Sheeps themselves. And looking at the ratings, you're gonna say Marat is really the man that's pulling the weight right now for his team.
Yeah, absolutely. I think far and away he's pulling away not just with the average rating, but as well with the KD. I mean, 1.3 is way ahead of anyone else on his team. But I think everybody else is kind of keeping up, at least with the pace of the match itself. I think Marat is the one that is really putting in overtime work to make sure that he has all the presence on the board. And you can tell by his opening engagements, he does have 10 of them. The only ones that challenge that more than him are Devil and Allred, who have a few more engagements than him. And they seem to be a little more successful in opening kills as well. So Marat really seems to be the mid-round powerhouse. He seems to be the guy that creates openings where there are none, and he creates opportunities out of thin air when Diavoli need it desperately in the mid round, and that's exactly why his rating is so high.
Is looking at the open engagements is really where they are having their most strengths. But looking at the other team, yeah, the Snakes, I see where their main strengths are coming at. Because I'm gonna say if they're not going to be able to come up with the opening engagements, and it doesn't look like they will, as they've got very low in terms of the opening kill department. It looks like they're struggling definitely in trying to just get the game in their favor early on.
Yeah, for sure. Not a whole lot of opening engagement stats that really seem to favor them. And I'm also looking at the cost. I mean, their cost seems to be pretty decent. I'm just taking a look over that. But Elisao does not have a good KD. I think that is the one thing that stands out as well. But once again, I feel like that might be down just to the fact that Year of the Snake have been struggling in general. And especially the support players are the ones that suffer under that most because they get enabled and they get kills simply by being successful and by being able to get to the point in the round and in the match where they're actually able to use their gun. Because most of the time on support, the first thing, the primary thing that you need to do is actually get map control and play objective, play utility. You need to get walls open. You need to take control of certain parts of the map, clear utility. And if you can't even do that, if your team gets taken out before that, you find yourself in 1v3s, 1v4s, where you're walking into unwinnable gunfights, into unwinnable crossfires. And I think that reflects on the stats of Year of the Snake. So we'll have to see how it pans out for them here in this match.
It does seem like that open engagement is going to be very important for both teams. And with looking at the stats, it does seem like the Volley do have the opening advantage for that. But I still think could go either way coming up for this game. But let's see where this game is going to be battled upon. Obviously, the roster's looking great there. But looking at the bans, surprisingly so, Nighthaven Bank, Cafe, Border, the first four banned out. Not surprising, as to be fair, you don't see many cafe maps coming out anymore. It seems like a map that not many teams like to really play at the moment in the current meta of Siege.
Yeah, the current meta favors Clubhouse and Chalet. I think those are the two primary ones. I'm not surprised to see Skyscraper go through until that late. Diavoli choosing to take it out to just play the most standard of current meta Siege, which is Chalet. But Skyscraper is a map that Diavoli are not afraid of playing, and Year of the Snake are very proficient at. So I'm not surprised that neither of these teams wanted to take it out early. But ultimately, Diavoli, they get the final say, they get the final choice, and they just want to play fundamentals. They decide we want to go Chalet, and we want to play a map that really isn't that friendly toward entering the building. Which I think Border is another map that kind of reflects on that as well, although that got taken out earlier. So we'll have to wait and see. Chalet, definitely an interesting map of the snowy plains of the French Alps. We'll have a look at the match.
I can say a lot of windows on Chalet, very hard to really enter the building. So many spawn pieces you could do. But looking at the current standards, it's an important game for both teams. Well, apart from Yenisei seeing how they're very much rock bottom, I don't think there's many chances for them to climb out. For Diavoli, though, it is very important as they're sitting there at the top of the table with the titans of their group. So yeah, the Snakes, they're really looking to play spoiler here, trying to maybe just win a game out, just rat away any chance for Diavoli to make those playoffs.
But yeah, Year of the Snake can be gatekeeping here, and they can net Diavoli a lower position. But ultimately, I think for Year of the Snake, it's about pride. It's an opportunity to play a match to their strengths and to just get some game day reps in because they seem to have a whole lot to work on. And we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah, it's a very exciting game. I do think at the moment, looking at the stats, I would say Diavoli definitely have the favor, seeing their standing position, how well they look in terms of stats. And yeah, the Snakes, you're right, they're just not really having a good moment in terms of games. And surprisingly, obviously, the main player I know from Year the Snakes, I casted him last week. Profesca not actually going to be on their team at the moment, maybe being subbed out. So it's going to be unfortunate losing probably one of their best players. So I've got to say, yeah, the Snakes, you're looking at an uphill climb, but they can definitely do so, especially with just how volatile the scene is in the moment for EU Siege.
Yeah, and speaking of players that aren't on the roster, the player that I didn't see on the starting lineup for Diavoli was Scyther. That's a player that I usually look for when Diavoli are playing, and so I didn't see him here in the lineup. I don't know if he will be playing today. I assume since we saw the stats from Murad, I do believe that we have somebody else coming in, but he, very importantly, was always a backbone of Diavoli because first he came into this team and he brought a lot of experience into a core Russian roster that didn't have it. And from that point forward, he just kind of became a backbone, secondary, just reliance player. It's not a support, it's not a fragger. It's a guy that when things start going bad, Scyther can get you a 2K, Scyther can get you a multi-kill, he can keep you in rounds, he can keep you competitive, and he can get that mental backup so that you can get back into a match. And that's something that Diavoli have always needed, because when they start tumbling, they become very, very slow, just a pinnacle of Russian Siege, playing the same thing over and over and just getting slower and slower and slower. And that really, really helps them most of the time. So I'm wondering if just fragging capability of Murad is enough to overcome their usual difficulties, because Diavoli are just mostly battling against themselves.
Well, we're going to see if they can do it themselves and keep up with the metas. It seems like we are ready to go, ready for the game to start, as we're ready to get ready for Chalet to see whose map it will really be. As from the pre-game, it's got to be Diavolo's game to lose, as they need those points to make sure they secure themselves a good standing in the table to get ready for playoffs.
Yeah, and that once again just plays into how Diavoli usually have to play and what I'm usually looking for when they're in the server, which is just how they play with their own mental, how they play their own pacing. I feel like the opponent more often than not is not the problem for them. It is really just how they perform on the day, with what lineup they start, and how they're able to convert rounds. But with that, we are into the operator bans already, and very unsurprisingly, we get to see a Blackbeard ban come out as usual. I feel like a lot of teams now start to take that out very often, and also unsurprisingly, although I guess for Chalet he's not that important, the Monty ban comes out as well. Double shield bans, that means all of the roam hunters will be in play. That makes it very difficult to roam without being detected sooner or later. Dokkaebi, they must both in play.
And Jackal as well. Obviously, Blitz is also going to be in play. Looking at the defensive bans, the first one's going to come out being the Valkyrie, obviously extra cameras, and it's very strong for Chalet as well, because the amount of soft floors that you can just maybe get a free C4 pick, or maybe just play below, especially with the top floor bomb site. I don't know if it's going to be played, but you get that half wall plant. If there's a camera in play, you can easily go below, down to kitchen, get that C4 off. You need so much coverage. You're just trying to figure out where these cameras are. And it also frees up an operator slot because you have to be forced into the IQ. But Cade, the final ban, obviously useful for that basement bomb site where there's hatches that you need to keep reinforced and keep closed. And obviously the main wall itself. But going on to the map, Blitz is still in play. Obviously, you did at least get rid of 2 shields, but curious to see if either teams will maybe want to abuse that final shield on the board. To be fair, there's actually 4 shields. People don't run it often, but there is always going to be that few shield in case they want to still bring out the double shield. But at the moment, no shields being brought by Year the Snake.
And I think also important to mention, no shields being brought up by Diavoli. I'm it wouldn't be unsurprising, especially on this map, to see a clash come out. But I guess on top floor, they choose to think better of it. Also, no deployable shields while we're on the topic of shields, but instead, plenty of bulletproof cams. There's a whole lot of cam utility that is coming out, I think, basically in response to that Valkyrie ban. So they wanted to still have the information that they need, and it looks like we might be having a rehost coming in. We'll wait on admins to confirm that, and that might mean we have some more time to talk about these two teams in prep.
Yeah, rehost would be very unfortunate round 1. We've seen a lot of them currently in reload, but obviously that's because of the new game they're playing on. But yet, already a rehost round 1. Oh, it's a 4th victory, you know, that's a screen. No, it's a rehost, sadly. But yeah, I was gonna say there's so many deployable cameras. It was basically just you had Valkyrie anyway because there's 3 on board. Interesting to see. Maybe they just want to make sure they have as much information as they can. Obviously, secondary ability of the camera is you can zap drones, zap any type of attacker utility to just use it as a EMP. But at the moment, we're back just waiting. Hopefully, we'll get update. But obviously, I'm don't really cast a use. I don't know much about these teams. At least I'm happy I've got an expert with me to give me a rundown and give me more information on each time these teams go out. Is there anything else you think Yin Snakes need to be able to do to keep up with Diavoli at the moment?
Well, I think they need a breakout player. The problem for them is finding opening engagements. They need to figure out how they want to play as a team and how they want to enter the building to make sure that they pick fights at their own pace and they pick fights the way that they want to. And they have the perfect opportunity to do it because they start on attack. So Diavoli are the ones that will set the pace, they will set the setup, but the attackers, they can control where and when they want to challenge and where and when they want to take map control. On Chalet, that's quite difficult, but it obviously, it does give them that chance and it does give credence. You have to avoid the spawn peaks, obviously. I feel like that's fundamental siege, though. If they start failing at that, then that's definitely something they should work on. But other than fundamentals, which is the most important thing to always, work on and improve, it is really just picking engagements. They need to figure out how they want to play, how they want to get in the building.
Will they say if they're able to do that? Because I feel like it's smart to go to a short break as we're able to just rebuild the lobby, make sure everyone gets back in, and don't go anywhere at least because we've still got this siege game to come to you, and it will be full of action-packed greatness.
I must have went blind tonight, cause I swear that you out of sight. Man, I'm so up, I could be a pilot, and I just hope trying to catch a flight. So let me get the digits. I call right now if you with it. I seen 1,000 pretty girls in this room. $1 and I've been looking for you. I've been searching, it's so hard to find a girl who's one of a kind. 'Cause being alone just isn't cool. I'll take 1,000 trips around the world just so I could find you, girl. 'Cause darling, I've been looking for you. Yeah. I'm
Welcome back. Sorry for that small little tech issue, but we're back and ready to finally play out this amazing game coming to you. Obviously, the bans are still in favor, and we're still on the top floor. Looking at the lineup, it has changed after the rehost. Less deployable cameras, only 2 this time out, and 2 C4s. So it's looking like maybe they just had a little bit of a tweak in their plan before, obviously, the tech pause. And looking at the lineup at the moment, coming out from near the Snake, they've got the Deimos on board, so they're expecting maybe some sort of roam coming out from Diavoli. And looking at the lineup, they're looking to be right as we do have the Mutant Dining Hall.
Well, rehost and prep phase, all is fair game, and Diavoli do stick the same site as we've got the game going back on. It looks like it's a slow start for Year of the Snake as they're trying to get a read. And I mean, I have said that that's exactly what they should be looking for. They need to make sure they don't lose too much time before they work their way toward an execute. But it looks like they wanted to try and go with a solar and a solar side start. And they're not really finding any ground inside the building. Deimos is looking for an opportunity to top in and maybe contest the player that's playing around kitchen and dining. But for now, I'm not really seeing any progress from Year of the Snake. Venoms takes a bit of damage. Heavy takes heavy damage as he tries to come up West Main Stairs, and Allred is the one to get the opening frag as Leon does go down trying to jump in there, and Allred is beautifully defending kitchen all by himself.
And just after that, Matsuru with the next pick as well. And he goes for the run out, but no one going to be in his crossfire. And now the next pick coming for RLW as well, if only up to Prophet, who actually is in the game. I was wrong, so he will be playing out for the team of Year the Snakes, and he will be the last one left alive. And it's looking like he's going to be taking a pseudo timeout. Never mind, he's still going for a pick on the guy on display window. Not going to find it, but apart from the fact that RLW is going for this aggressive pick. The Grimby's thrown out, so he knows the player is there, and Diavolo, they're looking for him. They are hunting him down, doing everything they can to be like, you're not going to stay away from us. You are going to die. You're not saving your KD. We want this final pick. But Prophet's still not giving to them, giving the little teabag. He knows we're spectating him, so, you know. Oh, nearly gets one, just about missing the shots. But it will be RLW, a disgusting shot. You cannot let him land that, Prophet. But it is going to be a flawless round in the end to start off with Diavoli.
Prophet Tiske, you can't be standing on the roof teabagging and then get absolutely destroyed like that. That is not a good start for Year of the Snake whatsoever. It is a flawless round for Diavoli. No response out of Year of the Snake. And would you look at that? We looked at the stats. We made some inferences on how Diavoli might be playing. Allred is very good on the opening engagements. He shows us that with a beautiful two-piece as he defends kitchen all by himself. And Maratz gets kills in the mid-round. He got himself one pick-off in the mid-round, which completely solidified the advantage for Diavoli. A 5 versus 2 is very difficult to throw away. Especially if you're playing your cards right, and on defense there was just no map control out of Year of the Snake. And we're already seeing everything we analyzed in the pregame come to fruition, and that has me worried for Year of the Snake immediately.
Yeah, they tried to use the Deimos to figure out where the sole roamer of the Mute was playing, but he wasn't really a sole roamer because they had so much vertical to just wait for these players to try and enter in, and when they did try to enter in, they just got shot from above. And even when maybe the Deimos tried to track the Mute, he's a Mute. He's going to have his jammers down, he's going to be sitting on those jammers, and you can't track him when he's on those jammers. And now we're going to be looking at the next site rotation for Diavolo. It's going to be that bar gaming area, and I love the mirrors on display. Normally you have one in stock, but instead they're going to have one in the bar facing games. It's one that you wouldn't expect as an attacker and may catch off someone from Year of the Snakes when trying to go for a quick play through the main game's window.
Yeah. Looking for spawn peaks, and once again, this is kind of just how shall I play? Oh no, no, Venoms!
It's entry pick.
Oh my god, it's an entry pick for Year of the Snake, but this is not what I mean. But you need to get opening engagements. You don't have to kill Leon on Repel there. You're just trying to open a barricade that is completely unnecessary, and Devils immediately just piles on as Venoms is taken out. He won't even be able to redeem himself inside this round. And now Profetiska does punish some aggression that comes out of RWL. So at least there's one kill going back the way of Year of the Snake. It won't be another flawless round back-to-back, but at the moment, Year of the Snake is contributing to their own downfall with that opening engagement. not looking good for them, as Choose is just trying to find some swings onto Profetiska. He's using bees defensively to just try and ward off territory so he can go for some swings just on the outside window, and this just goes to show how little control Year of the Snake have of the map itself, as they're all outside. I think there might be one player that's now around Piano side, but with half the round gone, you're at a player deficit, and you're not really finding yourself in the positions and with the pressure that you would like to have.
Yeah, you said they need to work on their fundamental, and I think a main fundamental is not killing your own teammates. Another pick going for Devil's Head. He goes down. What a shot! Completely fries Prophet with
that?
the one tap. That is disgusting, and it's all us up to Caxi trying to find any pick he can. I was going to say another positive was the fact that Prophet killed RLW after dying to him in that last round. But there's no positives in the end as Choose gets the final pick, and we're looking at maybe a runaway train already for Diavoli.
Well, these are two very dominant rounds for Diavoli to start us off into Chalet. And they're on the defense. It's not surprising to see them win rounds, and especially to start off with a 2-0 lead. That's not the worrying part. The worrying part is how they're winning these rounds and with what margin of victory, because there is a wide gap between Year of the Snake and Diavoli right now. And I don't really see a way for Year of the Snake to close that at the moment unless they start putting their heads in the game and they start playing a little more considerate. And they don't make these silly mistakes that are costing them a lot of players early. That's exactly what I said. You need to be the one that's in control of when you're taking opening engagements. You are the attackers. You choose when to push. And at the moment, Diavoli is completely disrespecting that, and you're allowing them to. If Diavoli is going aggressive and overstepping, you can punish that. That's exactly what you can do, and that's how you deal with an aggressive team. You either counter-aggress or you punish aggression, because you either force them into submission one way or the other, and just walking into it over and over again is not the way to deal with it. So Year of the Snake, there's a lot of work for them to do here on this attacking half.
I would say even when they're trying to maybe punish the aggression, play a little bit slower, Diavoli are just hitting some insane shots to really just battle it back. That Shoulder Legion, you say, Prophet is waiting, holding the angle, waiting for him to swing out. He just gets completely fired from a one-tap. But right now, we're going to see how they'll be able to attack the kitchen bomb site. And there is a heavy roam extension onto this mezzanine side with the Scopus. And obviously, the benefit of having that Scopus, you can roam really far. And even when the pressure may seem insurmountable, just switch back to site. You switch back to your other drone and you're completely fine. Not only do you get all your health back, you get all your bullets back as well. And there you go. He's felt the pressure. He's been like, okay, guys, there's no way I'm winning all these gunfights. I'm switching back right now. Yes, he's lost his other drone. Yes, he may have been able to have force back and lost the positioning, but he's kept his life. He's wasted already a minute of time, and overall, I think it's a massive win for Diavoli.
Yeah, it's the slow pace at the very least. Once again, this is down to fundamentals. Year of the Snake, you get your game day reps in. They're currently finding themselves at the very bottom of the leaderboard inside of this group stage, inside of this phase for Voltage League. So I'd rather them lose a round on time because they were trying to find openings and they just took too long, but they're playing like solid siege. It's just they don't have the pace to match an opponent like Diavoli, than them just rushing in and dying over and over again. So I like this round a lot more already. The problem is there's not enough peeking and prodding going on. Year of the Snake currently is not just looking for openings and not finding any because Diavoli is playing so well. They're just not prodding enough, and they're not trying enough things at the same time. They're stalling out because they don't know what to do, so they're sitting around waiting for a call to come through. And that's where an IGL needs to step in. That's where a shot caller needs to step in and say, all right, we're doing this, and this is how we're going to do it. You can see it here. There's some bees. There's a nade coming in up above. They're trying to clear that space over on Office so they can take control of it as they find themselves inside a fireplace. But there's only 50 seconds left, and RWL is still holding on to this top for control. He can deny the plant up here. They will have to contest him, if not even flush him out of this position, and now the timer is ticking lower and lower.
The time waste has been perfect from Diavoli using the 2-barrel, but talking about the 2-barrel, he loses the side, but an instant refrag by choose a wonderful work from Diavoli to just make sure they're close in, always able to get that trade up until that moment. Prophet gets the pick right back, and we're looking at man count for Diavoli, but the time is not in their favor. 20 seconds left to either get these final 3 kills or get the plant down, but Heavy gets the next one, and this could definitely be around in their favor. But again, time and HP, not of the effort, and that's Diffuser dropped. They have to find this final man, but do they know where he is? But does he know where they are? As Prophet gets the final kill, and Year the Snake are not dead. They're still alive in this game as they get a round back and get their first on the board.
Would you look at that? That's exactly what I've been waiting for. Year of the Snake, isolate where and when they want to take an engagement. Of course, it's scrappy. They still don't come out ahead without losing one player on that opening engagement, but they clear the player out of office. They have a game plan on what they want to do. The timer was pretty low, but with the man advantage they ended up having, they played it cool. They had it down. They knew exactly where that last player was. He had to be somewhere around that trophy side. So they find Marats, lock him out as well. It's a very good round for Year of the Snake. And that slower pace is really helping them. It's really aiding them because Diavoli get antsy, Diavoli get restless, and they want to get out there and they want to do something, and they're looking for opportunities. And in the first 2 rounds, they just kept finding them. They looked for a peek, they looked for a pre-fire, and they found kills, kills, kills. This time around, they kept swinging, they checked some angles, they peeked, they held an angle, they're stalling, they're waiting, they're like, what are these guys going to do? What are the attackers up to? Are they just going to run out of time? And then boom, they hit you when you least expect it. So much better adaptation out of Year of the Snake. They're taking it slow, they're just playing a bit more fundamental Siege, and they're making the right calls. That's what you love to see, and we might have a somewhat competitive game on our hands.
Maybe we will, and the Blitz seems to maybe be the theme they want to go with, as he worked last round, and they're going to take him for a second time round out. Looking to use that shield to really, what you've been saying, control the tempo, keep it in their favor. But again, their first protocol has to be clearing this mute from down below. It didn't work out last time. They tried to use the Deimos to help clear him out, and that was their main issue. But this time round out, the Blitz is going to be straight through into West Main and looking to just completely switch over and just make that mute having to be push him away. But they do at least have control of these solar windows, and slowly and surely they're also getting control of the middle floor. You hear the buck shotgun going off, you see the drones going out, figuring out where this mute is, but the problem is they also have to be careful of that vert above West Main, because if they send the Blitz in right now, he's probably just going to be shot instantly from there. Apart from the fact that it's actually no one on that vert West Main at the moment, and the Blitz, I think he's been sent in. Yes, he's in kitchen right now, looking to find this pick onto the mute, trying to battle him out, and there you go, he gets it, opening pick, but it instantly answered back onto Heavy. So again, we're even, but the man count, the map control is in the favor of Year the Snakes right now.
Right, then that Blitz still pushing and prodding, trying to get up the blue stairs. He will clear that barbed wire, which does a tiny little bit of damage to him. And there's a player on bathroom there with a lot of Kiba bears to play around, choose that is. And he's trying to still hold on to this position as long as he can. The problem is there's a player on the balcony. However, RWL is there for his teammate, and he's able to clear him off, and that means they don't have to worry about that bathroom window as heavily, which puts more pressure onto a Blitz who just got flanked. Devils takes down Venoms, completely retakes solar control and solar stairs, and with that, I feel like the attack from Year of the Snake gets banished into the Shadow Realm. There is nowhere for them to go. Devils gets a triple for himself in the round as he takes down Prophetesca as well. It's all down to Leon. He might not be known about right now, although it looks like Devils is looking the right direction, and yeah, Devils will just get a 4K for him. I was gonna say, even if he gets one, at that point they know where he is, but no, Devils just puts it away right then, right there, and Diavoli are right back in the driver's seat, 3-1.
I think the early round was great from the other Snake. They were able to get the Blitz in, get the control of that mid floor, kill the mute as well. But I think the main issue is they let 2 people who are on that balcony die to the same exact way. Both times died to display, and then also letting your Blitz get flanked in that situation. Where the flank cams, you need to make sure you have that information. Maybe even comment and be like, hey, do we have the flank cam? Is anyone on it? Doesn't seem like, again, maybe just lacking those fundamentals abilities of Siege to make sure you're able to just make sure each player is safe in these situations. And right now, Diavoli, they're keeping up with how they've been playing the game the entire time. Playing aggressive, playing quick, and making sure they are able to just keep in the face of Year the Snake and make sure they never feel comfortable with the attack they want to do.
Well, forcibly slowing down on the pace of the match. Looks like we we have a person freezing, so we're currently stuck on the loading screen. And it looks like Profetiska will disconnect, and that will force another rehost. Unfortunate, but that will be the case. I do think that we'll get another rehost going very, very soon. And with that, that just kind of kills the pace of the game. You know, there's some back and forth happening, and we're just gonna go and cut it back to cams. As the rehost should come through right now. And Diavoli, they get themselves some very good rounds. We saw one good round out of Year of the Snake where they just, you know, they very slowly make their way forward. They play an attack and they just try to find a way to execute. And then they do it. That was great. For some reason, we haven't seen that in any of the other rounds. It just falls apart on one step or another. However, now in round 4, I think the big difference is it fell apart a little later. They first got control of Solar. They actually did something. They traded some kills back and forth, and then they got unexpectedly flanked. That there's just, you know, a playmaker in the game. Devils is the one that completely shuts down the round. But at the very least, it's two teams going at each other. It's just one player that slips by the radar. So smaller mistakes being made, enemies being the ones to actually get into position to playmake before Year of the Snake is forced into a mistake. So they're making a bit of progress here.
I have to agree. I do think they are slowly getting themselves more into the game. I'd say those first 2 rounds were just genuinely one-sided towards the volley, but I think those last 2 rounds definitely could have gone either way. And now we're seeing the next round. It's going to be on that middle floor bomb site. It's going to be on one of the middle floor bomb sites. And I'd say the main strength we saw last time, on at least the round they won from Year of the Snakes, was how well they're able to clear up that top floor, slowing down and make sure they slowly, even if it took all round, they got that top floor control and then were able to execute on the site. See if maybe they can do a similar thing onto this bar gaming bomb site. But we'll have to see after a short break, as we're going to have to see if another rehost can quickly be sorted out. So again, don't go anywhere. We've still got great siege to come to you guys.
I must have went blind tonight, cause I swear that you out of sight. Man, I'm so up, I could be a pilot, and I just hope trying to catch a flight. So let me get the digits. I call right now if you with it. I seen 1,000 pretty girls in this room. $1 I've been looking for you. I've been searching, it's so hard to find a girl who's one of a kind. 'Cause being alone just isn't cool. I'll take 1,000 trips around the world just so I could find you, girl. 'Cause darling, I've been looking for you. Yeah, I'm looking for you. For you. I'm looking for you. For you. Let's get it now. I'm so up, I could be a pilot. Be a pilot. Be a pilot. I'm so up, I could be a pilot. Beat. Let's get it now.
welcome back. We are finally back into the game. Obviously, again, sorry for the technical issues, but they happen in Siege. And now we're finally on to round 5, where it will be Diavoli defending Bar in Gaming. Obviously, Yin the Snake, they slowly impressed over those last 2 rounds, especially more than in the first rounds. But the issue is, are they able to keep it up, especially after such a long pause? Both teams, obviously, shouldn't be speaking technically during a tech timeout, but we can't really enforce that. So we're going to see if maybe the little cooldown can either help either team. Obviously, it's really hard, though, to just disconnect from a game like that. But the positives we saw was early round, they were a lot better. They got the open pick, they got man advantage, and they got map control. And on the round they won, they were really strong at being able to just control that top floor, using the blitz and just being able to just slow down. Even if it took the entire time, they were then able to execute with the man advantage and with all the map control in the world. Can they do it on the Bar Gaming Bomb side, though?
The technical issues in esports, it's like the caution flag in NASCAR. It is unavoidable. You're going to have it sooner or later in basically every single match and in every single event. But after all of that cooling down, I hope that we can get back into this as, well, the opening kill is still awarded in favor of Diavoli, but at the very least it does get traded back in favor of the Year of the Snake. Not for long, though, as Profetiska was able to find one. Immediately, Caxley, though, does lose his life as well. It goes down to a C4. That is the Capital cleared out before he has a chance to use any of those fire bolts on Devils, who is now sitting in the corner of Library, and he's now going to be intensely difficult. Oh, well, okay, I spoke too soon. I said he was going to be difficult to clear out, but he just swings into Leon widely. Just pure confidence out of Diavoli. Maybe that timeout got to their head as Diavoli lose another player. But once again, there it is. Diavoli, they just continue putting up numbers. Choose finds another. All Red finds another. While Hibby's on the roof trying to see if he can start a phone call or not. Year of the Snake are punted out of the round. It's only down to the Dokkaebi, who has a world of a fight ahead of her. She's got 3 players to find. Choose might be banged up a little, but All Red and Marats are full HP. No diffuser in the hands of Hibby. And he finds himself inside a fireplace, or rather inside of kitchen, as there's another SMG-12 ringing out inside a fireplace. And now the hatch above him opens to the surprise of himself, and not to the surprise of Choose, who chose to just take that engagement on his own terms. Diavoli win another round. They're starting to pull away with this. And Year of the Snake, once again, look as cold as they did in rounds 1 and 2.
Yeah, the timeout really did not help them. Obviously, the tech timeout did not help them. It just, like you said, it cooled them off a little bit. Obviously, losing the blitz first, I don't know how that happened. It looked like maybe a run-up from RW. Yes, they then got the refrag, but losing an Opera Light blitz as your first pick is always going to be an issue. That is the person that you want to be the spearhead of an attack. You want to make the space for yourself, get the ground for yourself, and without him early on, they then have lost their main brunt of the force they want to be using, and they've got really nothing left, especially when you lose the Capital next. We thought maybe then would be harder to clear out the guy in corner. Obviously, he got shot out in the end, but still, they were then able to still have the bodies to then be able to get the refrag instantly afterwards because of the fact they were able to get the early on pick and that C4 pick. So in the end, it's just unfortunate who was dead first, but they're again letting Diavoli get those aggressive plays early on, unlike what we saw in the 2 rounds before the tech timeout, where Year the Snake played slow and waited for Diavoli to just play into them. Obviously, last time Diavoli had the defender site, they did lose it, so maybe this is where Year the Snake can at least get that 4-2 split and maybe have similar fortune on their own defenses, but we're going to have to wait and see if that can come about.
Last chance for Year of the Snake, as we're finding ourselves in round number 6. After that, we've got the half switch coming in, and they will get a chance to defend as well, which also brings a lot of change up to the pacing of the match itself. But right here, right now, is where Year of the Snake kind of have to win another round, because a 5-1 split wouldn't be good for them. And, well, it's a good start. Profetiska, it's a very important shot onto RWL, who once again is involved in these opening engagements. He really wants to stick his face into a gunfight, and this time around he does get punished, as, actually, speaking of punishing, Taxi and Choose both trade some damage in another engagement, but either of them will get taken out, and Choose is even able to heal as he can just switch to the other clone That is the advantage of that Skopos, and immediately he finds himself back in sight, but that does concede a whole lot of space. The question is, are Year of the Snake there to take it?
He's also positioned his Scopos extra inside of the bathtub to basically be using as a shield. Really smart players coming out from Choose. Not only, like you said, he healed fully up, but now he has that as basically a shield. He's not going to be using it right now. He's going to be playing in that master area. But if needed, he can use this shield and maybe even switch back to it to just confuse the attack of being like, is he in bathroom? Is he in master? He can just switch between the two. But they at least have that mag out. A disgusting shot. And obviously, not only that, but it was also a tuber out. They cannot use that to just slow down the opening of the wall as you hear the ace charges going off. The wall is open, and now they can slowly start just building pressure onto the defense, pushing them in, but instead the pressure is insurmountable. The defense swing back and the double kill comes out for them. The Blitz now has to try and do it all by himself. Never mind, Leon has to cover, but the vertical is still controlled by the defense. Another pick back, and we're looking at maybe another round for Diavoli, especially when the Blitz just stays up, but Leon, Heavy, the cover of the Blitz is the one to go down. Blitz 1v3 is going to be next to impossible for V7 to pull it out.
Venom's all alone. He's got 30 seconds to try and do it. No diffuser in hand. He will have to recover that. It's on the floor right in front of him, and he will be able to recover it now, but he's taken some shots. He ADSs and catches one. He knows where Choose is, and he does some damage on the Devils as well. So far from done, but with the timer ticking lower and lower and that vertical overwatch coming into play and being more and more important, the hatch shot comes through. They know where he's planting, and the soft wall bang comes in. Maratz gets that final kill as well. Diavoli do make it a very dominant 5-1 split as that execute from Year of the Snake. Too hasty, too quick. They don't respect the vertical control, and they choose to vault into certain doom instead of trying to walk around it. The Blitz made it into the site, and you choose to take an angle of approach that is not safe to follow it up. So Year of the Snake still making avoidable mistakes, and Diavoli 2 away from putting this map away for good and securing themselves a full 3 points. And they're just 1 away from at least securing that match point, which is already guaranteed points, and they need every single one they can get.
Every point important, especially at the top of the table where Diavoli are looking at the moment. I would say the main problem for Year of the Snakes at that moment, as soon as they did go for that execute, is when Diavoli swung out. They're like, okay, they're going for the execute. We need to retake that top floor control. They swung out, killed the person on piano window, swung out, killed the person on side of the office breach, and they're able to then reclaim that top floor control for themselves. And then the other six were already push and go onto the site. They got that fail control, killed the players that went go, 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 and all is left. Yes, the Blitz had a great try with a beautiful shot onto the guy trophy, but in the end, it was all left up to him, and it was basically next to impossible. Couldn't get it done, but we're going to see if maybe it's going to be hard. It's going to be a climb, but can Year the Snakes make their own dominant run on their own defense? As this time round out, Diavoli are the ones that have to control the tempo, have to control the game, as they are the ones on the attack, and they're going to be going for a similar take that we saw Year the Snakes try to accomplish, and it is their solo take, and it's going to be a similar defense, and you see the same problem that Diavoli posed when they were defending. Year the Snakes have that mute inside of the kitchen dining area, and again, Diavoli now have to try and accomplish what Year the Snakes couldn't, and they have to clear him out.
Ooh, Ulrich taking a lot of damage. I'm not sure where that was from, and Caxi actually gets the opening pick as well. Year of the Snake find an opening engagement. They take down one, but the trade is there. RWL does catch Caxi before he has a chance to get out of office, and now Profetiska gets caught on a swing on the barricade as Hebi is able to find Maratz at least. That's the big important player with the very important 1.5 rating as we saw earlier taken out, and RWL is able to get rid of Profetiska. There will be no pickup coming in. That nade will confirm the kill, and that leaves it with a 3v3. It's good map control from Diavoli. They aggressively take space, and the damage that Ulrich took can kind of be healed up by RWL's Finka boosts. The problem is that they have traded and exchanged players, and that means they've lost all the utility out of the gridlock, and the Capitao Hebi, he's able to find another one as that swing in from Allred comes through. It's ill-advised. They don't have control of Trophy, and they don't have the pressure to keep that man away, so he's just allowed to swing into it. Takes that player down, takes down the Nomad, and both of those flank watchers are dead, and one of them to a flank. which is not how you want to be losing those, as Leon is taking some engagements from up above. So Novert control does end up coming back to haunt Ear of the Snake. Devils is able to find another. And with a minute left, it's a 2v2. It's all on Heavy and Venoms to avoid match point here.
I honestly thought it was the top floor bomb side, but it's going to be the kitchen dining. And yes, they've got the full vert control and they're using it for their advantage. RW gets a double on the round. It's all left up to Heavy, who has his own double, having to accomplish a 4K. But as the LMG is reloading, it's so long. The 100 bullets having to be reloaded, but because he's stuck in that animation for so long, it's a free swing for Heavy, and now he knows where the diffuser is, he knows where the final player will have to come. The nade, though, to maybe obscure some sound on the drop, and he doesn't know. It doesn't look like he has any idea that the player's dropped. He's still looking for it. Can he hear how close Devil is to him? At the moment, no, he hasn't reacted. Yes, he has. The camera will give him the information, will give the game away, and it's a wonderful shot from Heavy to accomplish it as Year the Snake get their first defense on the board. But it was a very, very close one.
Too close for comfort there. For Year of the Snake, that should have been put away a little more comfortably. They had the right idea and they had the right read, and Diavoli bring it down to the last man. It's a good cover there on that hatch drop. The problem is a default cam was up in just the right position and the shots are hit out of Heavy. And with that match point avoided, Year of the Snake closed that gap from 4 to 3. But they've still got a lot ahead of them. But this sets a good precedent. This first round tells us that Year of the Snake is capable of staying in control of the match, and they're able to reel it back in just a little bit. Even if Diablo win this next round, it just puts more pressure onto Year of the Snake, though they definitely have a shot at this. If this was a 6-1, I'd argue there would just be a washout. We would just say, all right, Diavoli aren't just good at defending, they're just simply the better team. And while that might still be the case, Year of the Snake are trying to make their own arguments, and I'd love to see that as they get themselves over to Bar now.
Yeah, the fight is still burning within Year of the Snakes. Surprisingly, obviously, we saw Diavoli like that top floor. That was their priming bomb site. Still not seeing it out of Year of the Snake. They prefer that middle floor, and right now it's working for them. They at least won that kitchen dining, and we're going to see if maybe the Bar gaming can be similar. The mirror is a constant theme as well for both these teams, but we saw a different mirror from Diavoli. We saw it on the main bar wall, but we're going to see the default stock mirror coming out from Year the Snake, which controls all of that game's room and obviously make sure that no one can just easily jump into the window, get a quick plant off. And obviously we'll also see the Mez mirror that allows you... Oh, wait, it is going to be a quick play. Instead, the Blitz already taken out that mirror, the C4 gone as well, and the quick play instantly out with the no hatch control being established. It means that they can make this quick play happen. The Blitz overcoming, and it's a 5-1. Such a quick, beautiful play from Diavolo, and it's all left up to Heavy to try and clutch this out. Wonderful shot onto out, but that may be the only one he gets. The plant now has to be paused, but now gets re-attempted. Is there any chance for Heavy to try and stop this? No, as there's a player outside on K9. Choose finishes it off. A wonderful fast rush coming out from Diavoli, but the main problem was no one was on that hatch control to help the mirror inside the site because they were isolated.
Misread from Year of the Snake, too slow to adapt. Diavoli just with force into the site itself. Maratz is good for an opening pick on the Blitz, and from there it just kind of, it snowballs into another round victory for Diavoli. I said that Year of the Snake are keeping this close, and Diavoli just they want to close the gates as quickly as possible. They want to keep their round difference up as well. That is something that is not negligible when you're toward that top of the leaderboard. Those points, they get real close, and so every round can potentially matter depending on how the head-to-heads end up. So definitely still got something left to play for Diavoli. And every single round that they allow Year of the Snake to get is another round that they creep closer to overtime, another round that they creep closer to potentially losing out on 1, if not 2 points. And so Diavoli just, setting the pace, still doing playmaking, and at the moment, I think they have an opponent in front of them that they are definitely capable of handling, and the mental game and just the physical manifestation shows it. They are confident, they are feeling themselves, they are doing everything that they feel like doing to win out the match, and they're not really encountering enough obstacles for Year of the Snake to stop that train rolling.
Yeah, the Snakes going back to the same bomb site, and looking at the lineup from Diavoli, they said, you're going to the same bomb site? We'll just do it all over again. But there looks like to be like, hold on, let's wait a second, let's at least get these drones out, figure out where these players are, and look at this. The Warden close to the window, adapting, waiting for the splits to come through, waiting for these smokes to come through, and obviously there's a great adaptation coming out from the Snakes. But I do like what Diavoli's doing. They're waiting, they're slowing down. The nade comes out to make sure no player can play close. Pushes the wall back, but a wonderful shot through the wall. Caxi takes down RWL, and that has said, all right, brakes are on. Let's wait, let's slow down, give them space. Okay, that's... I'm very confused. Choose not able to put his head on a swivel as Heavy jumps out looking for anywhere. I think maybe Choose was on a drone in that situation, so good little advantageous situation for Heavy. But again, the blitz is 50, going for that top floor instead, instantly shot out Toe, shot out Prophet, somehow survives, and we're left in a 5v2, a minute 30 left. Can Volley clutch this round out though?
Oh boy. Well, I'm getting a bit of delay on Milo, but I'm trying to cover as best as I can. All Red and Devils. Now, just in the 2v5, Prophetess is still alive, and it completely folds for Diavoli. They tried to do the same thing, but they wanted to do it slower to make sure that they don't walk into a trap of Year of the Snake. It ends up springing anyway, as some pre-fires are good out of Caxi. And just Prophetess able to ward off that blitz, able to keep enough distance between himself and Maratz. Does find those picks, and there might be over a minute left as everything happened within the first half of this round. But there really isn't much for Diavoli to play for. Devils, all right, they're trying to find an opportunity into the site, but they don't have access to the diffuser. There's a mirror window that's facing all Red, and he's about to walk into a crossfire. He's trying to put some shots down range to the player that's fighting next to the bomb site, but more rotations coming out. Heavy, he's been very aggressive in this round. He found that beautiful run-out kill. Now he's just working his way around the map, seeing if he can establish a bunch of different angles, just make life difficult for Diavoli because they don't have the information game anymore. Now the timer ticks lower as well. This is going to force Diavoli to make a play as Devils is still rotating around outside. All Red walks into a crossfire. It's only down to Devils. This might well be a flawless round out of Year of the Snake, which is very, very important to see them get a round like this, a round as confident as that, because they need a couple more, but it does look like they will close that gap to 3, and they will only need 3 more attempts to fight into OT as the run out comes through again. Heavy's just gonna do it a second time. If it doesn't win him the round the first time, he's just gonna do it once again, and with that, the game keeps on going. Year of the Snake still in this, and Diavoli will have to find a different way to close out this match.
My Discord did crash. The stream can still hear me, but I cannot see the game. But from what I saw, early aggression happened quite quickly, and it was great from Diavoli to be able to just quickly take, or not Diavoli, but great for Year of the Snakes to just be able to battle it back with aggression, adapt to what just happened as well. They were like, okay, we just saw the quick play they did, so let's just get the Warden in, adapt quickly. Beautiful shot for the wall, beautiful then shot on the blitz, and then they were able to also get the run out as well. So established looking at the moment, Diavoli cannot do the same things in a row because Year of the Snakes, yes, they may be the worst team, at least on paper, but they are able to at least adapt.
All right, and the adaptation is important. Every single round matters. I've mentioned before that they sit at the very bottom of the scoreboard, and with that, they're just playing for game day reps. They need to work on improving their game state. They need to make sure that, you know, they're fixing something up for whatever other leagues they might be competing in, for whatever chances they, you know, expect out of themselves, out of competitive Siege as a whole. Because for this league, it's not looking too hot. They're too far behind this late into the play days of the group stage, but there's still a lot of lessons that can be taken out of this if you're going into this with the right mentality. And with that, every round of practice, every round of experience really does play into your hands, especially against an opponent like Diavoli, who can play confident, who can play together, and who know what they're doing. So it's definitely not a bad game day rep.
All right, I'm back. I can see the feed now. We're back in Discord as well. Looking at it, they are going for another solo take as they had tried last time while trying to attack this kitchen bomb site. Did not pay out because the main reason they were not able to fully take control was the fact they had that Goyo on side of the solar stairs. And again, Heavy is looking like the star player right now for Year of the Snakes. keeping his team in it, making sure they don't go down without a fight. I do like the adaptation of bringing the Caterpillar, being able to fire off the angles, and Heavy again gets that opening pick onto Masura. And now we're looking at maybe a repeat of the last time they were able to defend this bomb site. A second pick for Venoms, and already the Evoli, they've fallen short at the opening hurdle where the Snakes were falling short with that opening pick department on their defense. Heavy again! Disgusting shots coming out from him as the Evoli, they are just stuck, just looking for any pick they can. Repel in, it's a desperate repel. He does get fully in up until his life nearly comes forfeit. No, Poffy gets one. The floorlit round is at least deflected as Leon also dies.
All right. RWL, he has managed to get himself a second one. Profetiska goes down. It's still winnable for him in the round. He will have to win a 1v5, and he's down to 26 bullets, so the capacity of the LMG not playing into his hands. This is where he reloaded last time, and he ended up losing his life. We've seen this before. This is not where you want to see a Finka playing at the moment, as it looks like there's a wrap coming through on top floor as well. There's a player trying to chase him down. They're trying to close that gap. They're trying to tie the noose around his neck and really lock him into a loss for this round as well. Make sure this one doesn't slip away from them. This is an important round to win. This is an important lesson to take. You can't be giving him individual gunfights, and for now, they're just waiting. Caxi does find him finally on top floor. That flank does come to fruition. He was hiding up there, waiting for an opportunity. Spots it at the right time as the player is looking down the hatch. It's another round for Year the Snake, and this one was really, really comfortable. And now Diavoli might be facing the match point curse as they struggle to close out this match.
It's looking like, yeah, the Snakes, they're not going down without a fight. We may have a game on our hands in the end, as we're going to see it for the first time this game. The basement is going to be played by Yeah, the Snakes, and not option goes to that first floor. Opposite of what the Evoli liked, we're going to see that basement being played out. Curious to see if they're able to defend it. And what I'm seeing right now is a Warden shotgun. So that tells me he's going to be playing in that pipes position, maybe with the shield behind. Normally how on Oregon, how the Smoke used to play elbow with the shield in front of him. You can see all the ADS is also giving him protection to make sure his shield cannot be naded out. And that's going to be a massive hurdle for Diavoli when trying to get their bomb down, as the main attack you see on basement bomb site is going to be the wine cellar attack. You go get pipes wall open, you go get the long angle open, but the main problem is as soon as that long angle is opened, they then have to be careful of the fact that he then cannot escape pipes wall. They also have to be careful of a rush, because we saw Diavoli like doing it, and if they just main that rush main side, there's a lot less attention being shown there than there is being shown on the backside right now.
Caster really dating himself by mentioning Oregon. Old map out of the pool for a bit now. But it's a good reference. Elbow and Boiler play quite similarly if you choose to play that shield over there. There's a couple more, I think, power positions is what they usually refer to. Another one that comes to mind is, of course, the infamous bolo spot on Cafe Pixel over on that third floor on Piano. There's a lot of different spots where shields just really change the way that you play the game, and especially in the util meta, those were omnipresent, those were everywhere. And you can see Heavy, he's not even got a shield anymore. He's just playing around that reinforcement. He's waiting for a swing to come through from Devils, and there is one, but a nade comes out in simultaneous fashion, and with that, Devils is not awarded the opportunity to fight Heavy head-on. As now a phone call does ring out. One of them gets muted. A second one rings out as well. Will be stopped immediately. So not as effective as Diavoli were probably hoping, and Leon is even able to get the opening pick. That is the first one down. Devils, no more Roam Hunter, as Deimos is off the board.
A massive pick early on. It doesn't look like they had any information on the guy playing bottom of West Main, as the Deimos was just so focused on trying to clear out Heavy from that pipe position. I was going to say, it was very good from Diavoli. They were able to already take down that shield. Good time use, but look at this. The shotgun onto the ace, almost taking his life, but then a lot of damage done on the reverse angle as Venom gets the next pick. They know about the player on the hatch, and at least he gets one, but doesn't get the second. No, choose instead, and we're sitting an even man count if Old can at least get picked up, and he definitely can, as there's no other defender that really can sit in his favor. But the problem is, the HP advantage is so heavy in the favor of Diavoli right now. that any bullet will really take down at least 2 of their members. But the problem is they do have a minute left to really just slow down, get the drones out, get maybe even the remaining call out to figure out where are these 3 remaining defenders.
I don't really know what happened to the Selmas that were trying to be tossed onto the main wall, and now it looks like they're breaching boiler, but diffuser is down. They don't have access to the diffuser. It's sitting somewhere inside a fireplace, and it's being held from up above by Year of the Snake. I don't know if they know that they dropped diffuser there. I'm sure they do, because they are still keeping that player up there. The problem is Heavy is playing a little too forward as his teammate watches him die in front of his very eyes, and so the health might not be in their favor. Well, I was going to say, but the man count is not for very long. Now we're about even. It is a 2v2. Diffuser has been recovered somehow, and now Thatcher is able to try and stick that, but Prophetesca takes down one. Choose comes off the plant at the right time, and Diaboli put it away. It's still a regulation victory. Diaboli will be able to get it over the line. Year of the Snake, not good enough. Don't come into this match early enough, not forceful enough. It was a good showing, but Diaboli are the better team today.
Very close game in the end. It looked like maybe we were going to go to max rounds, maybe go to 7-5. But in the end, it is, as our producer loves to say, the Muscle Sheeps. They get away with the victory. They get away with the win. And I've got to say, their main positive, at least for me, was how they were always able to control the tempo, even on attack, even on defense. They were able to always make sure that they like to play their fast tempo, their fast aggression style play of Siege. And it really was the problem for Year the Snake. They were never able to completely grasp Diavoli when playing that type of Siege.
All right, and with that, that is match number 1 out of the way. We do have one more coming up, which is Psychopathos versus Turks LFO, as Wild Multigaming versus Gunners did get rescheduled. And just, for the standings, NXT did get a forfeit win against Valor, as Valor forfeited their matchup. So we've got one more cooking up. This stream is not over just yet, so don't go anywhere. We've got the Spaniards versus the Turks coming up after this break.
I must have went blind tonight, cause I swear that you out of sight. Man, I'm so up, I could be a pilot, and I just hope you're trying to catch a flight. So let me get the digits. I call right now if you with it. I seen 1,000 pretty girls in this room. $1 and I've been looking for you. I've been searching, it's so hard to find a girl who's one of a kind. 'Cause being alone just isn't cool. I'll take 1,000 trips around the world just so I could find you, girl. 'Cause darling, I've been looking for you. Yeah, I'm looking for you. For you. I'm looking for you. For you. Let's get it now. I'm so up, I could be a pilot. Be a pilot. Be a pilot. I'm so up, I could be a pilot. Beat. Let's get it now. Let's get it now.
Welcome back to Vultures League. Same casters, same great siege action, but we have two different teams. Of course, it's going to be Turks LFO versus. I've already forgotten how to pronounce it. I was told how to. I'll let Reprince pronounce it. He pronounced it very nicely. Don't Reprince pronounce
Yeah,
it.
we've got Turks LFO versus the other team. No, I'm kidding. Picopatas. We've got the Spaniards coming into match number 2 against, well, obviously, the Turks. They even named themselves that. Formerly known as a few different teams, I think, namely Istanbul Wildcats is the big one. We've got the Turkish roster that's been around the block. They're a very solid team that usually has breakout performances into T2 events. They can be competitive even against some T1 teams. Depends on the meta, depends on the history of the roster. They have some really, really solid players. I'm looking forward to this brawl. Psychopatas is also just a show of strength out of the Iberian Peninsula. There are a lot of strong players out of that part of Europe.
Very exciting game. We're going to see the Turks versus the Spaniards. But first of all, let's see how the stats are favoring up to both teams. They were used to be known as Besiktas. Like, I only know Besiktas based on the football club. Obviously, it's a city inside of Turkey. I'm pretty sure city inside Turkey. But we're going to be looking at the stats to see how these teams favor up against each other. Very excited to see which players are really standing out between the teams. And looking at Turks LFO, is this, or is this the Sikbatas? 2.27 is insane for Sharton, by the way, with a 1.84 KD and 19 opening kills. So he is definitely the player to look out for right now because every stat is outrageous, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, everything, not just on that stat board, but including the name is outrageous. What is any of that? I don't even know what I'm looking at. Other than that, it's very good stats. This seems heavily inflated because I think Psychopatas have been doing rather well throughout the stage. So Rafa being the lowest rated with a 1.01 just tells you that this team has been winning a lot. Despite that, the average cost is sitting around 60 for instance, Dano. So I think Dano is a bit of a hit or miss player, forever also not necessarily contributing all the time. So I'm looking forward to see how Psychopatas do when they're maybe developing, when they've got some opposition that could give them some trouble if they ever lose a bit of momentum, if there's a team that can maybe outwit them in a couple rounds, if they have the fortitude to immediately get back into it. But I mean, with a player like Sharton with those stats, I'm not worried for it. But I think we'll also go and take a look at the other side of this matchup, and I really want to see what the stats for Turks LFO are, because we've got a very important player here as well, Selim, but he's not even the top-rated player, at least according to these stats, because currently Guttero is the one that's doing better.
And again, a similar theme we saw with Diavoli was the opening kill engagement. They are winning majority of the time, every single play. You said Badolf 6-1, Teaser 9-5, Gutaro 9-7, Salim 5-3, and Shocks 6-4. Always in the positive of those entry engagements. And you like to talk about the cost. Their cost is on average at least above 70 because 4 out of 5 players have that 70 plus cost engagement. So I'm going to say their stats, yes, they don't have a star player that has a 2.2 average rating, but overall, I'd say their ratings look more impressive because they're more close together as a team.
Yeah, and once again, the lowest stats are out of Theezer, who has got 1.19. That is really, really high for the lowest rated player on the team. So they're all sitting above 1.2. And that's quite impressive. So we've got two heavy hitters coming into this matchup who have taken down some just some opponents that really didn't give them much opposition, at least according to these stats. So we've got this match number 2 coming up, and I can't wait to see it because these two are quite the big hitters.
And for a heavy hitting game, we need a heavy hitting map. So let's see where we're going to be going to for this all to unfold.
Oh boy.
With two teams that love gunfights, Border is the best map to see because it all comes down mainly to who can win those gunfights. We said on Chalet, it's about, can you enter the building? Can you enter the building on Border? It's very hard to.
Yeah, Border comes down to the outside gunfights. The moment you lose map control inside the building is when you lose the game as a defender. Unless you've already taken out multiple of the attackers, unless you have decided how the gunfights are going to go and you're completely in control of that, or it's like the last 10 seconds, I think the moment you concede map control within the building, it's very difficult to come back from that. So you need to go out and you need to be aggressive early on. There's not a whole lot of space to take. And that means that the engagements are coming right off the rip. And so we're going to head into a probably very, very hectic border. And we've got coming up cooking between Psicopatas and Turks LFO.
And looking at the map bans, I won't be surprised if we see another Blackbeard ban, if we see another Monty ban. But going to the defense, again, definitely could see another Valkyrie ban. But also, I'm very curious to see if we see an Azami ban. And there you go, Blackbeard banned in the same exact ban, in the same way. First off of the board. Not surprising at all, really, is it?
No, not at all. And I think considering the current meta, we might see a border with 0 Navy SEALs players or operators, as it is their map, but they might not be allowed to stick around for it, as we've got similar bans coming in as we had on map 1 as well, over on Chalet between the other two teams. And once again, double shield ban. This does leave the Blitz open, but the 2 main shield operators are taken off the board, and the Architect, as Whiskey Glitter likes calling her, is also taken off the board, as Azami will no longer be around to protect from some of those sightlings.
Shout out Whiskey Glitter, one of the goats of the scene. And the final ban, will it be the other operator? Will no Navy SEALs on their own map, but the only different ban, obviously, from the last map is going to be the Cade into the Azami. Not surprising, Cade isn't as strong on this map, but Azami, such a strong operator for holding down Office, if you want to hold down CC, just allows you to just mold the map into your playground, and genuinely one of the best operators on the defense, that even if it isn't a map where Azami's really the strongest, sometimes just banning out Azami can really just sway the favors to the attackers. Looking at the lineup from the defense and looking at the bomb site, not very surprised to see the top floor bomb site being the first picked, as right now that is the meta. You want to go to there first, it's definitely the strongest bomb site. But overall border, I definitely could see it sway either 50-50. Either team can really get a running start in terms of the attacking or defending.
All right, I'm seeing a balanced lineup out of Psicopatas at the moment. Of course, they're still in prep phase. They're going to drone out how the defense are set up, and they still have the chance to switch up a few operators, but they seem rather sure of their lineup. I think they're expecting top floor to come in first, and on the other side, we've got Turks LFO, who've got themselves with, I think, once again, this is very classic border. There is no space to forfeit, so you need to fight for every square inch of the map. And that means you're bringing 2 information denialists, so you've got the Mute and the Mozzie combo, and the other 3 are just area denial. You've got a Goyo who's going to just be area of effect, you've got the Smoke, and you've got the Legion as well, which can provide you information and be really, really crucial in those late rounds. So it's classic border. We've got everything cooking up, and there was a last second switch up as the Blitz does come into play. Dano is going to pick it out, and Raxo is on the sense as well. So I'm looking at an aggressive execute for Psicopatas here, at least from the operators.
I'm loving the sense change, especially how well it's put him into the favor. But the change is not going to hate when you get shot in the face. Wonderful shot from Gutter to start it off. And now an entry pick for the defense. And that is going to be their main execute operator down. So Psicopatas is going to have to try to figure out what they go. Tifo goes out with the player standing on his drone. Just about gets away with his life. And we're looking at least a 5v4 still going into this final 2 minutes, as now we see Rafa looking for the next pick, just about missing the head of the Mute, and now he's going to run out with the shotgun, but only taking about 25 HP. To be fair, at that range, the shotgun doing that amount of damage is criminal, but when you believe in the Mossberg, it believes in you, and you can always take anyone out. But the one positive for Psicopatas right now is the fact that Blitz is still up, and so is their Deimos. If they can maybe just find the right track on someone, they can shoot them from below, get the pit back, and then maybe look for that plant onto the diffuser. But the Mute Jammers are perfectly in tandem to make sure they can't kill the Mozzie, and the next pick goes into Turks LFO instead. Buck goes down, Salim gets the next pick, and we're sitting in a 5v3 with a minute left.
Right, and with that, it does not look good for Psicopatas here for them in their very first round. Dano and Rafa tagged up a slight bit. Gutter has taken a whole lot of damage, but I mean, with those confidence swings coming in, it is to be expected. Does go down. The Mozzie is lost in the process of trying to clear out top floor, but Choxel immediately responds. Dano goes down as well. It is a 2v4, still heavy advantage for Turks LFO, and they've got some area denial now cooking up. I don't know where the Goyo canisters are, but the smokes are going to waste a whole lot of time, and they won't have to keep doing it as Turks already closed out the round. They find the last 2 players. It's a good defensive start for Turks, and they get themselves a very important round 1 victory.
That first pick so important for Turks Telephone, not just being able to get that first pick, get the entry engagement, and then start spiral on getting more picks, but the operator itself. Sense being your first pick, especially then knowing that, hey, that's the Sense down, that's basically their main push, their main idea gone. It then has to say, like, Seeker has to now adapt, find a new strategy, and I've got to say, they didn't really do it. They didn't really do it in time before the next pick happened as well, as they're then sitting in 3v5, having to scramble, try and get office control with not much utility in their favor, and it just doesn't work out for them. But they'll get a second chance on attacking, and surprisingly not on the Bathroom Teller's bomb site, onto the Workshop bomb site already. And looking at their lineup, it does look similar. Obviously, instead of the Sense, we're going to be seeing the Floors to help maybe get rid of any type of utility like the shield, but there isn't really going to be any other than the shield on Warden. So that's mainly where they've swapped off it. You're going to see the Dokkaebi, the Ram. So maybe they were also expecting that Bathroom Teller's bomb site and maybe got thrown off when they saw the Workshop and completely pivoted with a full roster change. The Ying, though, will they have shotgun? No, they've got LNG. I was going to say the Ying shotgun's been very prevalent in the current meta of Siege. Will it be coming out? No, it's going to be the MG, so unfortunately not going to be able to see the Ying shotgun this time round out. But they do have a lot. They do have roam denial, and they also have the knock. So curious to see where that knock is going to be lurking in for the side of Seeker Parties.
Right, and with that start, we've got, surprisingly, 30 seconds off the clock without anybody being dead. That's a rarity here on Border, but looks like Psicopatas are slowing their approach, making sure they don't make any of those early mistakes. As I do find it interesting that there's a lot of shotguns that are in the hands of Turks, especially Shoxel and Selim are both bringing out SMG 11 and 12 together with those shotgun primary combos. So a lot of soft destruction in the pockets, a lot of close range fighting capabilities being brought out. And it looks like it's a rather similar setup. Despite it being bottom floor, Turks are just going to hold the top floor the same way. And the question is, do Psicopatas have a better answer this time around? And their answer might be negating top floor altogether and just executing into sight. The problem is they do have to deal with a Warden up above, and they have to deal with 2 players absolutely destroying them. 3 players as Theezer gets in on the action. It is suddenly a 2v5 as it's only down to Raxo, who's trying to draw attention on the site itself, and Forever, who is trying to sneak in, and he gets cut down as well. Turks is all over this. It's a flawless round. There was some attempt coming out of Psicopatas, but it is unreadable as to what, because Turks just read into every single one of their moves and shut them down before they have a chance to do anything.
When a quick play like that happens, it is normally either flawless for the defense or they get the bomb down and maybe it comes into a brawl. What it looked like Seeker tried to do was, hey, we're going to ying into this site, throw the smokes down. This is where your attention goes. Come look at this. Come bring your attention over here. But not everyone was drawn in, as then they sent the sledge in and it looked like maybe the sledge had the diffuser depart on the other bomb site as all the attention was drawn over to vents. But the Solus was not deterred, kept an eye on Workshop, killed the sledge as he went in to maybe make that sneaky plant go down, and it doesn't work out for. I like the idea, but Turks Eleford, like you said, read into it perfectly, able to just completely shut it down in the end, get their flawless round, and now are on a roll, getting 2 defenses in a row. Seeker Partas, they have to answer back this round, but it won't be this round right now, as a rehost is coming out.
We're cursed today.
Instantly afterwards. We are cursed. 3 rehosts in 2 games. We say it happens, they say it has to happen, but even so, 3 rehosts in 2 games is cursed, so it's very unfortunate. But what do you think right now that Seeker Partas has to do to really answer back against what Turks LFO are rolling with right now?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as Psicopatas, because what do you do against Turks? They're so dominant at the moment. They've read into every single one of your moves. And while there was just kind of a smart 2-step plan that was trying to be implemented by Psicopatas going into a fast execute, Turks just made them look stupid. they looked like they were doing something silly. It looked like they were just walking in and getting cut down. There was a plan. The problem is Turks read into it so well that they met them at every single entry point immediately. So how do you adapt from that? I think the plan is to just keep slowing down the game, because at the moment, they're slow in the early round. They try to find an opening. They can't find it. And then in the second round, they adapted. They tried to do some sort of aggressive play on their own pacing, and they got shut down in every single avenue. I think you need to prepare your execute a little better, and that's what they're going to have to work toward.
Well, we're going to see that after a break. Can they prepare to fail, or can they prepare to succeed? We're going to see after a small break. But again, don't go anywhere. We've still got great siege action to come to you.
I must have went blind tonight, cause I swear that you out of sight. Man, I'm so up, I could be a pilot, and I just hope trying to catch a flight. So let me get the digits. I call right now if you with it. I seen 1,000 pretty girls in this room. $1 and I've been looking for you. I've been searching, it's so hard to find a girl who's one of a kind. Just being alone just isn't cool. I'll take 1,000 trips around the world just so I could find you, girl. Cause darling, I've been looking for you. Yeah, I'm looking for you. For you. I'm looking for you. For you. Let's get it now. I'm so up, I could be a pilot. Be a pilot. Be a pilot. I'm so up, I could be a pilot. Beat. Let's get it now. jump out of a plane for you and I rain for you. Like, look at I came for you. They say being in love is crazy. Well, I guess I'm insane for you. I've been searching, it's so hard to find. Yeah, a girl who's one of a kind. 'Cause being alone just isn't cool. You know it ain't cool. I'll take 1,000 trips around the world just so I could find you, girl. Darling, I've been looking for you. Yeah, I'm looking for. I'm looking for. Let's get it now. I'm so up, I could be a pilot, be a pilot, be a pilot. I'm so up, I could be a pilot, beat. Let's get it now.
Welcome back, Turks LFO. Currently 2-0 up. 2 dominant rounds, really. Obviously, a 3v1 on the first round, and then a flawless follow-up. But obviously, Hoogtepunt went for a desperation rush kind of play, and obviously, those either work out in your favor, or it does come down to the defense kind of stomping out. So we're going to see if maybe they can go for a more traditional take onto the bathroom tellers bomb site. And look at their lineup, we're going to see more sense play. Obviously, we tried to see it in the first round. Unfortunately, the sense was taken out early doors. But now, if maybe the sense stays up, maybe Hoogtepunt can have more of a chance inside this round. And you've got to say, Sharton, he hasn't really been living up to the expectation his stats kind of showed at the moment.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of stats, sadly, we did have a reset coming in, but it looked very one-sided, let me assure you. Hoogtepunt managed to get 1 kill inside of 2 rounds. So the reset on the scoreboard might also be a mental one for Hoogtepunt, as they have a bit of time to reset. They have a chance to consider their options, and now they got to move against Turks, who are still going in with aggression, as Caesar is outside the building taking challenges, and he wins the first. Cutter is trying to help him, and they managed to get another trade out of it. Somehow, Caesar, despite being caught outside the building in the middle of nowhere, has a teammate who is ready and waiting to give him at least one more trade, to give him that impact, and Gutter responds with 1 more. It's still advantage for Turks, and they get themselves a good start with a 4-2 now, as Forever also loses his life to Bodolf.
Turks LFO, they're loving this early aggression, but there's at least another trade back. Raxo gets it back onto Salim, so now we're looking at a 2v3 with still 2v2 with still 2 minutes left on the board. How quick are these kills coming back and forth? We said all is a map. Can you enter the building at the moment? Just about. They've at least got 2 players in. If they drone it out, they can try and figure out where these 2 many players are. But it's the SAS duo. You got the Mute and Smoke shotgun duo, but 1 is down. Now it's only left up for Badolf. What looked like a massive advantage for Turks LFO, having that 4v2 has completely fallen apart. But the question is, do they have the information on this final remaining player? Do they know where the Mute is? He's looking to aggress out. He's looking to find any of these players left on the side of the attackers. Just maybe Ron bring it just a little bit too far. And does he find it? No. He pulls back, and still he's now going to work into workshop, gets the ping out, knows where at least 1 player is bottom main, and maybe he can get 1, because they are disconnected at the moment, and the Nomad's about to come into his crosshairs. Does he get the kill? No! He whiffs! Just about missing, and now it's a free pick for Grey Quazo, and now we're looking at them getting a round that maybe could have been a defeat.
Absolutely, it looks so confident for Turks. They kind of throw it away in the mid round, and from there, Bodolf has a chance to isolate 2 gunfights. If he hits the shots onto Raxo, he definitely has a shot, because Raxo did not even expect him to be behind that little blue tarp covering. But the SMG-11 just goes awry. Sometimes it gets away from you. That recoil is random, and sometimes it just really doesn't work out in your favor, and that's an important round for Hoogtepunt to get, because now they're on the chase. They are finding some rounds of their own, and they're keeping this matchup somewhat, competitive, as we've got the first quarter of the match done. 3 rounds are gone, and Turks find themselves in a slight lead.
Yeah, just a bit. Probably could have been a little bit better, but I think they'll be okay with that 2-1 advantage, with especially how volatile a map like Border can be. It can definitely be pushed into the favor of the attackers or defenders, or either way. Mozzie at the moment, teaser looking for maybe some early aggression, which is always seen on a map like Border, maybe going for a small peak, or maybe just shooting out his spider drones to maybe just get those drones under his favor and just make sure there's less information for Seeker partners to have. But they do have one of those drone operators, obviously Twitch, getting those 2 bonus Twitch drones to just allow them to get more information. Obviously, zap as much utility as can. It's a great counter for the Goyo that Turks LFO bring in, because that just means he can pop the Goyos early on and not allow them to come in favor when they're pushing down to their final 40 seconds when they want to get that execute down. Lucky for Seeker Partners, they have not lost a body in the first 30 seconds this time around. Again, it's crazy to say, but it is an oddity on Border.
All right, and speaking of... Well, I was going to say, speaking of oddities, but this is a classic. Turks really love their C4s, and Guttural is very good with those. He's usually the one to find those. However, he does get taken out afterward. As soon as he expends his C4, he gets hunted down from down below, so Sharkton is able to find his first, I think, in this matchup as a whole, even despite the reset. That's the first kill that he's picked up for himself. And with that, we find ourselves in even man count. Turks a little bit behind on the health, because Selim has taken quite a decent chunk of damage. But they have wasted a decent amount of time too.
The only good thing for Turks right now is the fact that they still have so much map control. The player in CC still has not been pushed out. Yes, Seeker Partners at least got the east control and now can at least focus on the walls, but now they've also got the man advantage. So Seeker Partners, yes, they don't have the massive amount of map control, but they're able to just push around Turks LFO so they don't feel comfortable and then have to move out and just walk into the gunfire that Seeker Partners are firing out. So map control is slowly being established, and now another pick is in their favor as Teaser is completely stuck in a rock and a hard place, goes right out, but doubles up with his teammate and takes down Shartin, and now man count is back to being even and looking like Turks LFO are trying to fight this back and keep in favor the fact that they are in the lead and don't want Seeker Partners to make it 2-2 at the moment.
All right. 3v3, a lot of damage exchanged between the two teams, and now that breach is open, there is a way for Seeker Partners into the site. The question is, can they find it at the right time? Is there any sort of counter coming in? Selim overextends a little too early. He tries to punish with some counter aggression, and he gets taken down. Theezer gets spotted in the rotation as well, but he's not getting taken down. However, the plan will be stuck, and this will force it into a post-plan situation. 40 seconds on the clock, 7 needed to defuse. Theezer is down below, and Shoxel is currently waiting for fire to dissipate as he finds himself inside of Archives. And coming up that main staircase, Theezer does get taken down. Dano finds another onto Shoxel. It's another round for Seeker Partners, and now it finally starts looking a little more confident, even with Execute and Diffusers on the ground and all.
Seeker Partners evens it up, and we're looking like we're going to have a great game on our hand, going blow for blow at the moment. Even if their star player of Shartin isn't really answering the call, his teammates are. We saw that every single one of these players in the lobby right now had a 1.0 rating or more. So they are all great players in their own rights, and everyone is showing it right now. They're really keeping up with each other and really putting on a classic for us right now. But now we're going to see, despite obviously being able to go back to the top floor, they're still going to rotate. Obviously, they won this bomb site flawlessly last time, so not a crazy idea to rotate, but sometimes you see teams want to battle it out, be like, okay, we lost here, let's just adapt this slightly and then go there again. But turns out they're like, okay, we lost it, let's just rotate anyway. Let's make sure we can then keep our site rotations happening and make sure we can then win the next one out. And it's looking like a very similar lineup came out from Turks LFO last time they defended it. You said it last time, the shotguns were massive for Turks LFO, and they're keeping it up. They have 4 shotguns on their board, 2 secondary and 2 primary. So the vertical is going to be the main game from them right now.
All right, and more aggression coming in as once again the blitz is coming out. We've seen Quite a decent bit of this operator. We've seen quite a bit of Elias because the other two ops, the main shield operators that you would be bringing in these situations, have gotten banned out. Understandably so. I think Blackbeard very strong at the moment in any sort of map, but especially on Border and Chalet. But surprisingly, also the Monty on a rather small map getting banned out both times, and that just kind of forces you into the Blitz. If you want to bring any shields, if you want to bring any aggression, that has to come out. But there's early utility out of Sikapatas. There is EMPs, there is smokes coming out, and they're trying to play around this. Dano goes down, but the plant is coming through as well, despite losing that Blitz. Well, there was a chance of putting a plant down, but Shoxel, he's got some glasses, he's got some goggles, and he can actually look through the smoke with that, and that completely shuts down the play from Sikapatas, as suddenly it's only down to Forever and Raxo. And Forever is taking a fight with a player over on that Teller stock area, and he chooses to think better of it and just go somewhere else.
They attempted a fast play last time attacking this bomb site, didn't work out, and it's not looking like it's working out this time either. I said that the vertical play was going to be massive for the side of Turks LFO, looking at the amount of shotguns, and it has been. The Warden able to stop the person from getting planted, but Raxo gets another pick onto the board. It's a double for him, and it's looking like maybe they can slowly start pushing this back in their favor. They're able to clutch a 4v2 on the Bathroom Teller's bomb site. There's no way they can clutch a 5v2 this round out, but it's all if Turks LFO keep making these small mistakes on giving them the 1v1 gun. But they give another one. It's a 2v2. There is no way they're able to clutch this out, as they may be able to go for a plant. And look at this, Gutter having to move, having to try and re-aggress, and he gets one. And Reiko's just down from a frost matter. So, despite the fact that they were able to put it all the way back into their favor, now the man is limping, trying to limp into a round victory. But honestly, even with 50 seconds left, I don't think it's possible.
He's only got 2 heads to find, but of course he is slowed down by that frost mat, and he has taken a lot of damage from it, and there's a shield he has to worry about. And there we go, Gutter swings over the top of that little slit in the shield that allows him to spot the final opponent. I'm sure his teammate was somewhere close around Metal as well. But once again, it comes down to a 2v1. That's a little too close for comfort. Turk started out with a 5v2. This is not a round that you should be able to throw away under any circumstances. And yet Sikapatas keep making it close because they're given opportunities and they're given fights and they are able to win them. So they keep this competitive by the virtue of Turks just getting a little overconfident in the mid rounds. And that's something that I think Turks will have to work on, especially in the mid round. For the second half, once they get to their own attacks, because you're going to get punished even harder.
I do like that Sikapatas are able to grind in and just make sure they just don't give it up. They never look like they are throwing away a round or just trying to just be like, okay, this round is over with, we've lost it. They're always just gritting in, making sure they can keep trying to win a round out no matter what. And I love that from a team. They never know when to die. They have a never give up attitude. But right now, they're going to have to keep that in their favor, as they must want that 3-3 split. I think it's a necessity for Border, especially when you're on attack, but just how 50-50 this map can really go. But Turks LFO, they are in prime position to get a 4-2 split, especially with the fact that they get to the strongest bomb site again on this 3-2 at the moment for themselves. And right now, I do like the adaptation of bringing that mirror. Putting onto that main breach, allowing themselves to have early aggression out, watching out when they're trying to get control of that box area. And again, the mute as well, not allowing the Twitch drones to get free reign of taking down those goalie canisters early.
Right, trying to get rid of util early would be the name of the game here, because once again there is so much in place and there's so much you have to try and work your way through, especially with the smoke costing you about 45 seconds if it's used effectively, and Selim will already expend some of those canisters as Guttero is slowly sneaking his way up as he's trying to establish a very awkward angle onto anybody that might be trying to challenge break room. He even has a C4 prepped and ready. Currently nobody close to that doorway, but that might very well change because there's still players trying to take east, and at the moment Sikapatas look like they're scrambling for any semblance of map control. They do get east control finally. They find themselves inside of the top east staircase, and now Dano is waiting for a run out to come through as well. There's a quick little peek. Caesar will be given the opportunity to have one bullet lodged into his skull, but thankfully Dano does not connect that shot and he will get away with his life.
They at least get the establishment of slowly taking down that fountain mirror. So some control is being established on the other side of the map. A little bit of damage being done to the Lion, but not enough to really take him out. Pot shots and teaser coming out to just try and just discourage him from that area. And another wall going to be opened up by the Ace. So good use of the EMPs, good use of the Ace to be able to open up 2 walls that he needs to be done. But the first pick is going to be over onto Sharton, a player that was named in the pre-gamer song to look out for. He really isn't living up to it at the moment. He really needs to just be able to put up these numbers a little bit better for his team right now, as the entry engagements have just not been going his way. And a missed opportunity as Shox gets the next pick onto Rafai, and that's the Ace down, who was doing great work on just getting these walls open, as Turks LFO has the early advantage. But a little bit of damage done to Adolf. We've seen them come back from crazier. So in my opinion, the round is still not over. But a wonderful shot from Shox all the way. Maybe now it might be over. A 5v1. This is next to impossible for forever. But it's not over until the bell tolls. But it is until Salim gets that final pick. And Turks LFO get a 4-2 defensive split on border.
Selim just making that SMG-11 come alive with those vigorous bullets being spewed out. Massive RPM, he connects the final headshot, and Turks get themselves a 4-2 split. That's not too bad on Border. Border is kind of a coin toss of a map. You can really win on either side, and depending on how the bans go, I feel like attack more often than not can be favored if you know how to play your cards right on Border. So 4-2, definitely not a bad start for Turks, and especially with how some of these rounds played out. They have a heavy advantage inside of this matchup. They seem to be more often in control than not. They're making heads-up plays. They're getting out and aggressive where they know they can punish Psicopatas. And at the moment, I'm waiting for Psicopatas to try and bring that counter-aggression to the right degree. You don't want to overdo it either. And so Psicopatas now have a chance to do it on the defense themselves, and I'm seeing quite the different lineup. There is no Mozzie, there is no Goyo. Instead, we're playing a Mira and Castle together with a Frost. It's quite a different playstyle. This is more heavily focused on really funneling players through different avenues.
5 seconds to insertion.
Yeah, I do like the Castle though. It allows them to just play CC/break just a little bit more comfortable, especially if they have the Castle on that double door. At the moment they don't, so curious to see where these castles are being played. They do have the mirror though as well, so they are going to be playing the aggressive angle early on to not allow them to get that breach for free. I do like the Nomad though. We didn't see it a lot often for Psicopatas, but it allows them to maybe just feel a little bit more comfortable when trying to get the walls open on East, so then no flank can come up. To be fair, at the moment, no players are actually ready for a flank at the moment. I was going to say, it looks like the main wall is actually reinforced the other way round from what Turks LFO did. So curious to see how Psicopat is going to be using it. Twitch drone again going to be used to look for any little bit of utility it can zap out, but the only thing it will find is really mute jammers, because that's the only utility cam. Obviously, it can also open those mirror renders if it's able to find them, but we do see the cast barricade going to be up on that double wall, so it does allow Frost to just feel a little bit more comfortable when holding onto that box area.
All right. And once again, that Castle Barricade working to give Forever the cover that he needs to just hold on in the position of that long 90 hallway. But, oh, well, actually, it works out for him as Selim goes down first. That is the opening pick. Psicopatas get themselves a starting pick, and that really sets the pace. They do the same thing that Turks was able to do to them once they started on defense. So now Raxo is taking a bit of damage, though, as well. He's being contested from down below. Gutaro is trying to connect some shots. Raxo will go down to half HP, and he's sitting on a mute jammer, so he's the only one that won't be called. Everybody else will ring out, and that will give more information to Turks. However, at the moment, it's kind of punishing them as Shoxel goes down as well. Sharton is able to find another. That's only, I think, his second kill, yes, inside of this match so far, and this is the man with the 2.0 plus stats. He's the one that really needs to come alive for Psicopatas, and it might just be the time for him to do it now.
He also nearly kills Bodolf. He's running through CC, just about keeping his life. And now we're looking to see if they engage in another fight, and they're going to. And there will be Sharton that comes away as Damo also gets a pick on the other side. And it's all left up to Gutter to try and clutch out a 1v and he won't do it. As I'm saying it, he's killed quicker than I can finish the sentence. Frost takes him out, and it is a first flawless round on their first defense for Seiko Potters, and if that is a way to start off, it's a great one, as now it just sets a precedent on how their defenses are going to go. They like to make sure they get in your face early. Turks Telefo, they did the same thing. That's how Border is played. As defenders, you want to be aggressive early on to make sure they don't feel comfortable, they can't enter the building, and they can't really set their own tempo as the attack. And now we're seeing the same way Seiko Potters get their first primary bomb site. Can they do the same on the second day? Which instead of workshop vents, it will be the more default one you normally see inside of most comp games. It will be that bathroom tellers. And again, something similar. Shotguns supreme for the Simon Seiko Potters. 2 secondary and 2 primaries again. But I'm curious to see where these mirror windows goes, because mirror's not an operator you see quite often on the bathroom teller's bomb site.
All right. And, I mean, Abe Sharton, he's gotten himself almost back up to neutral stats. He's almost up to that 1.0 KD. And he has to be working toward that if he wants to keep his stats as high as they have been going into this matchup. Got a couple more rounds to try and convert. At the moment, it just kind of reflects how Seiko Potters have been playing. They've been kind of slow going into this match as well. There's another team that started on the blue side earlier today that started very slow into a match, ended up making it quite competitive before being shut out before they had a chance to try and take it to overtime. So let's hope that Seiko Potters maybe can bring that thunder just a tiny little bit earlier to keep it competitive between Turks and Seiko Potters. Especially for Seiko Potters' sake, as at the moment they just find themselves sitting pretty, waiting for Turks to approach them, and Turks are doing some diligent drone work, making sure that they don't miss anybody here on this first floor, and Bodov just kind of baffled by the fact that there's so much free space for him to take over here on customs.
Yeah, no custom extension coming out. It is going to be a very close-knit bomb site hold. They have got at least a lot of vertical control established. I do like this box mirror. It allows him to just make sure no one can push in on his armory door and just keeps him safe. The main thing is they do need to at least take upstairs control before they establish it. They can't just do a horizontal push. They need to pay respect. They need to make sure they clear out this room first. But at the moment, it doesn't look like they're readying up for it. They're looking for a solely... But no, there you go. The Habana is going to be upstairs, so they are paying a little bit of attention. But their first step may be getting rid of this castle, as he is playing this position ride or die at the moment. Good jump from the drone. I was going to say, he was about to get zapped out from the EMP, but it's getting as much information it can. They know there's a guy east. They know there's a guy helping him from down below, and this is how they're going to have to establish control and trying to get rid of this guy. And again, another good use of the EMP camera to just make sure they can't open the castle barricade, but the player on site, he's taking damage, and they're slowly trying to converge on this side.
Right, Rafa lit up quite a decent bit, but everybody's still alive, and that timer ticking lower and lower. Turks have no opportunity to get themselves into the site just yet. You have to deal with those Kapkan traps that are becoming more important with every second that passes as well. If they're not cleared out by the execute, they could come back to haunt the Turks, as now the push comes through. Gutaro, he's throwing the smokes, he's pushing in. There's that blitz, here comes the first flash, but the player gets away. Now he's going to try and just go for that plant. Does the smoke come out in time? No, it doesn't. It doesn't look like a C4 is there either. No, it does come out in time. Gutaro, he gets cut down. It's 2 kills for Seiko Potters, and now the response is good for Turks, though. It is a 2v3, but the swings come in, and Seiko Potters have all the positions nailed down pat. It's another round for Seiko Potters, and there we go. It looks like they've managed to tie up the scoreline.
C4 comes out just in the nick of time. It looks like the cover is there perfectly. He is about to kill the Warden, but just doesn't land enough bullets. The gun doesn't fire enough. The Flores AR is a very slow fire gun and doesn't do a lot of damage either. So it's not that he whiffs, he just doesn't do enough damage, and the C4 is perfect. And then when he tries to get the refrag, flashes in, it's Warden. Flashes don't affect him. He gets the free pick, and then the team around him also gets converged. And because they never really dealt with that top floor control, they're able to just kill them all from above as well. Make sure the team is set still, set ready, set comfortable. And now we're looking at Seiko Potters having some quality defenses on the board, sitting into their third bomb site, their tertiary one. the workshop and vents bomb site. Looking at their lineup right now, again, shotguns are heavy. We're going to see 4 again, 2 secondary, 2 primary. But the difference is the Warden, he's going to have his AR, he's not going to have a shield, and he's not going to have the shotgun. So maybe he will be more playing inside a site and not playing on those verticals, unless maybe the players have made it for him, and he'll still be going on that top floor. Yeah, he's still on that top floor, so he will be playing the vertical above site and waiting for maybe a quick play. And looking at Turks LFO's lineup, you've got the Blitz, you've got Smokes on board with the Brava. It definitely could be a situation when they want to go for that fast play. Didn't work for them last time when they ignored the vert, so I think it may be a bad pick if they go for that fast play, as I think you need vert control down to go for the site part.
Right, and once again, that blitz is coming out. The question is to what effect Psychopatas have brought it out with mixed success. And now I'm just waiting to see how Turks are going to utilize that aggression, as they've got both roam hunters in play. They're really trying to crack down on any positions that Psychopatas are in. They're trying to find openings and get themselves a man advantage before they have to execute. And, well, it looks like they're successful for now, as Guttural once again just sneaks into Tellers downstairs. He's done this a couple of times, and he's rewarded with a kill onto Sharton, who goes down once again, 4 and 6 now. This is the player that we were supposed to look at, but for now it seems like other people will have to pick up the slack on Psychopatas, and Forever is the one that I'm looking at for this. As at the moment he's sneaking around, he's trying to get aggressive, and he's trying to find some fights onto the players from Turks. The problem is they've all rotated outside and they're going around the building to go somewhere else. Goro gets tagged up by Rafa, but he's able to get away as well, so Turks are completely disengaging from this fight and choosing to just go somewhere else.
Warden also giving up the vertical control. He's going to be the man that replaces the guy in sight, and he is going to be the only man that's actually in and around the site area. Smoke is close as well, and so is Fenrir as the next play goes down. So vertical control is actually completely given up, and the plant is going down from the Blitz, and there's nothing to really stop this at the moment, as it's going to be established. They at least get one back. Forever gets Badolf, but the plant is down in a 4v3. Turks LFO, they have a massive advantage to close out around. 4v2 instead, as Salim gets a double in a 4v1, 4v0. Salim finishes off with a massive 3k from the ace. A wonderful just spinning back and forth to get beautiful headshots. Disgusting round from him as Turks LFO retake the lead, but Psychopatas, they get to go back to their primary secondary bomb sites where they look so dominant. And honestly, if this game keeps going how it looks, overtime looks like it could be on the horizon.
Could definitely be in the cards this time around. Turks trying a very similar strategy. They get themselves in, this time to a different bomb site. They start the plant again. They look for an opportunity to put that case down any chance they get. This time around, it's not denied in time, and that's what makes the difference. The moment that becomes a post plant, Psychopatas just start scrambling to try and make a retake work, and they all start walking into Selim one by one. He picks them off, and we know he's good for it. We know that he's a capable fragger. I was the one that had to hype him up in the pre-game, in the analyst game, because while his stats weren't the number one, just out of the Voltage League stats alone, he is definitely the most consistent and high-performing player out of this team. Guttural, he has some breakout performances when Turks need it, and you can see that he is performing. He's finding himself at 8 and 4. He's still ahead of Selim, but Selim is the one that makes the flashy plays, and right there was just the prime example of it. However, Bodolf is quite quiet so far as well. I think that's a contributing factor to what makes this match so close. It's that not everybody from Turks is firing on all cylinders. I mean, even Selim took a bit to warm up into this match, but then again, Psychopatas also have a few players with some errors. They're not all warmed up. They're not all firing like Forever is, who is absolutely playing out of his mind at the minute. So the longer this game goes on, the more chances we have to see a couple of players really activate and really get into this, find their own, find some nasty shots and nasty kills, and that's just going to make it more competitive as we go through every round. And with that, I definitely think that 12 might not be enough.
Yeah, 12 definitely doesn't look like it's going to be enough, but right now, again, it seems like I was about to say, again, I'm cursing these people to say no one has died yet, so it seems like maybe slower situations for Turks LFO, but they do get the opening pick, a massive one as well, one of the star players only for Psychopatas, who's getting 5 kills on the board, but he's not going to get no more in this round, as now Turks LFO can slow down, prod at this defense, wait for another player from Psychopatas to maybe overstep their welcome, and then have their head taken off. As you see here, they're slowing down. getting these drones out, getting the information, and just seeing where these final players are. Because their next step is going to be getting this break control, getting the CC control, but they're going to have to deal with these castle barricades, and they're looking like a C4 as well coming out from the U.
It's something that's also interesting. Forever and Guturo so far, the two players that have been the most important on either team, and they seem to be playing the same position on defense. They're playing around that break side, and they're just trying to swing for the fences and find any sort of impact kills. As Rafa is able to find one, Selim immediately responds though. But Raxo is there for another trade as well. He takes a decent chunk of damage, but he will take down Shoxel. And that leaves Sikapata suddenly with an even man count. And we're about equal on health as well, as Caesar and Selim both banged up just a little bit. Decent map control out of Turks as well. It looks like they're trying to inch their way forward into Armory side. The problem is that the diffuser has been dropped in the middle of nowhere, and they have a minute to try and get it back. They have a minute to push forward and see if they can convert some sort of advantage. A drone is coming in. This is going to feed a bit of information. And now they catch Raxo in the cross. Caesar just manages to take out the player who was not expecting to be caught off from that angle. And that is an important mistake for Sikapatas to make, as now Rafa and Sharton all alone. It's just these two against the trio of Turks, still up, still waiting for somebody to be punished, but they're slowing it down. They've only got 25 seconds. They don't have the time for this. They need to make sure they have enough time to dispatch both of these players, as Rafa and Sharton are smartly splitting up. This might be the play, considering that time is the sixth man for the defense. And Bodolf is still just holding an angle. Here comes some utility, but they have to make this execute work. This is starting to get very anxious. They're starting to group up again, and there's one trade. They're able to play together, but now Sharton is locked into a corner. He's got 1 second to hold them off. Here comes the first, and now the plant will have to be stuck. Diffuser is recovered, but Sharton should make it in time, and he forces the player off the plant, and Sikapatas will take it. It is 5-5. We will need all 12, and we might need even more than that.
Sharton, he hasn't really been up this game. He hasn't really been the player standing. I think Salim had a great round that round, but Sharton was the star man in that round. Not only gets the double kill to then push it down into that final one, but I think he also may have gotten the kill onto the sense that dropped the diffuser so early on in the round. So if that diffuser isn't dropped in that really awful situation onto that vent window, there's no opportunity for them maybe to win out that round. But because of that situation, because of what that led to, it allows him to come on. Obviously, stats are saved in this league, so saving KD isn't the worst thing to do. The Ash keeps the KD. Shorten sadly doesn't make his score even, at least after the rehost, but it doesn't matter if his score isn't even. He's won his team that round. He's even it up for a second time round. And again, a round that maybe should not have been winnable for Turks LFO, they're able to keep it out because of their never say die attitude and their way to just somehow always stay within reach of winning a round.
Very, very close call on that previous round, and as you've mentioned correctly, Milo, it's Sikapatas to just about get away with it. So Sharton now finding into his own just a little bit. It's the player that we've been looking for, and Forever is about to hit double digits as well. Selim already now on double digits as well. On the attack, Selim is doing Selim things, and he's overtaken his teammate in Guturo, who started off well on the defense. And once again, I feel like that comes down to break room. It just kind of forces you into engagements, and Guturo has been winning them. So props to him, and props where it's due. But Selim now is starting to really pick up the pace. The question is, are Sikapatas able to still match that performance? Evidently, yes, judging by the previous round, but can that be a trend that's continued? As Forever, once again, in that exact break room corner, it's always the same spot. They love playing around there. It's kind of a power position on border, and now that Blitz is starting to go on the chase. Guturo is inside of stock, and he's pushing over toward customs, and they're trying to see if they can get some headway made into this map.
The main issue last time for Turks LFO when they attacked this bomb site was ignoring the vertical play. They just didn't really give it any respect, and they allowed Sikapatas to have full control of it for the entire defense. And it looks like they're doing a similar take. No players at the moment, other than really the Twitch, giving any attention to that top floor, every other person is going to be trying to push horizontal for a second time round. And I think this could be a mistake again from Turks LFO. You need that top floor control to then be able to get that diffuser down. A minute 30 is gone. Not a lot of map control has really been established from Turks LFO, and no pick. This is probably the longest we've gone in a round where either team have not really grabbed the hold on the round and gotten an opening pick. They're just searching for a thing. They're looking for Seeker Partners to maybe put a foot wrong and give them that free pick. Still looking for the drone hole, still looking for windows. And there you go. The situation does go wrong. I said the only player on the second floor was the Twitch, and it does get that pick. Forever goes down, and then the Twitch drone finish. That is BM, but the refrag comes out. Flores goes down by short, and the man who was the MVP of that last round keeps up his favor. And again, the vertical control being the killer right now for, and then a beautiful shot through the smoke. He stands in it, but again, the refrag from the Blitz, and we're sitting in a 3v3 with a minute left. He tried to stop the plant. The plant can maybe go down, and there's no one to stop it. Never mind, there is. Shine with a double on the round. It's all left up to Carter. He tries to get the bomb down in the corner, but they know. Do they know he's partner down? The drop comes out. The impact goes out.
Oh, he gets off it.
What's going to happen? It's still a stalemate, but Shine with the free kick. We've been looking for this player the entire game, and here he is.
All right, here it comes just at the right time. I don't even know how that happened. All right. Well, that's that final kill coming in, and one match point opportunity secured to the defenders. Sikapatas get themselves over that line first, and round 11, it's always that important round marker. As now we find ourselves in a situation where Sikapatas either take all three, or we need additional rounds to see who between these two teams can at least take two out of the potential 3 points. And I mean, overtime would be deserving for both of these teams. They have fought valiantly. There's been some great back and forth. Turks were so dominant in the opening couple of rounds. Since then, Sikapatas has really matched that performance. And it's heavily back and forth, and Sikapatas are winning by a hair's breadth at the moment. A lot of these rounds are coming down to the wire, 1v1s, 2v1s, 1v2s. And with all of that, it's always the time that seems to start playing a factor, as these two teams have slowed down considerably and are leaving it to executes, leaving it to late round situations. That's what we like to see, because it's good siege. It is coordinated siege. They're peeking and prodding at any chance they can get the keep themselves inside of this matchup to get themselves any sort of advantage that they can convert into a round victory. And from there, Sikapatas now find themselves back downstairs over onto Events and Workshop, and they want to try and bring it over the line. They want all three.
Yeah, and they're definitely looking in prime position to do so. But honestly, the last time they defended this bomb site, it did go into the favor of Turks LFO. Turks have had a really good attack and shortened the MVP of those last 2 rounds down early. Oryx isn't a massive operator to lose. He is mainly going to be that frag style operator that looks to getting those picks. But the thing he can do very well is stop the Blitz, which has been brought out every single time by Turks LFO, which is maybe why that Oryx was brought out in the first place. But that Blitz is going to be feeling just a little bit more comfortable, as there you go. The comfort part of bringing that Blitz has come out as he gets the second pick on the board, and Turks LFO are in prime position to go to overtime. And there's a third as well. But the one thing you can say is Seeker Butters have never said die. They've always been able to somehow stay alive in every single round. And at the moment, this round is still not over. They can definitely still come back in, as it's a flank coming out from the Warden. But Teaser's behind him. Salim gets the final one. A flawless round to send us to overtime, as we're going all the way. And we're looking to see who can win out and get these points.
Shades of Ace of Pyrite. We're going all the way. We find ourselves in overtime. Additional rounds are needed. Absolutely, absolutely. You love to see Dez and Ace mentioned on any broadcast at any opportunity. And with that, we need additional rounds. We've got a 13 and 14, potentially a 15th round coming up, and Sikapatas and Turks both secured themselves 1 point each. And now we're in OT. We're fighting for that final point. We're fighting for that 3rd point to be attributed to whoever can come out on top. So no clean victory for either side. That does mean that nobody is leaving this matchup empty-handed. And considering how dominant these two teams have been, every single one of these points is going to matter. So both of them staying closer together and giving points to one another is just going to keep them closer when it comes down to the wire later on at the end of this group stage. We're in play day 6, if I remember correctly, so there is another play day that we've coming up after this one, so a little bit of time to try and move around, but every single point matters, and this is the one that they're playing for right now as we've switched sides again. Perks is on the defense and Sikapara's back to attack.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting to see how these teams are going. Obviously, defense has been so far the very much just the side you'd want to be on, as both sides have gotten the 4-2 split on their defense. So Turks on the flow, they're looking to have the favorable side, but they have lost this bomb site before. So it wouldn't be crazy to see them lose it a second time. Seeker Parties have done well on attacking this bomb site, but it still is going to be very hard to try and get them out for this second time round out. Looking at their defense, they're still going to be going for that east side take. And like you said, the blitz has been very 50-50 for both teams, honestly. Seeker Parties has definitely had the worst experiences with the blitz, but it's still a very good operator at getting that space early and making sure you can push in quickly. The one positive, though, for Seeker Parties is that Shorten has really woken up while being on the defense. Let's see if he can transpire the skill he's done on the defense back into the attack.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see if that conversion can come through, as, I mean, the two breakout players are both active. Salim is the one that needed to come alive on the attacking half, and Sharton was the one that started activating on the defense, so now both should be in the game. And here comes the first fight. Sharton takes down Bodolf. Bodolf is still not finding a lot of kills, and Dano finds a double. It's the Blitz, just with the pistol out, is able to find 2 kills, and this might be a very quick round in overtime to put away for Sikapatas, unless Shoxel and Gutter can stop this onslaught from kills, as Dano goes down to very low HP, but he's still hunting down Shoxel. He will chase him out of the sight, out of the map. And with that, it's a flawless round. It is a complete rollover. It is a complete stomp, as yes, Darton will be able to convert it as he finds himself a double as well. But man, Dano on that blitz, finally finding the value they've been looking for on that operator.
I said that he could still be able to push ground quickly, even if he's been a little bit topsy-turvy on their side. But he is very much the impact player. I don't know how he gets a collat in the first couple 10 seconds. But it's a beautiful double pick, to say the least. And then, like you said perfectly, he forces the player outside the map and then says, and when he's looking at his feet, he then just flicks up, shoots him right in the face, and Shorten, he really much has transpired it to the attack, gets a double kill. He started the round and he ended the round. And now, Seiko Partes, despite this game being such defender-sided, has turned it on his head, gotten the first round on their attack, and is now looking like in great position to close this game out on their defense, picking the top floor bomb site, picking a bomb site that has never been lost by themselves, and they're looking confident to end it out as Shorten remains on that mirror, allowing his team to be aggressive early on. But looking at where Gut is... Oh, wait, no. I was going to say Gut has a really good prep drone, but I think Shorten has seen it and he's looking to try and shoot it. He can't at the moment, but they at least know it's there.
Oh, it does look like every single drone out of Turks so far is alive. As you mentioned, one of those might get taken out sooner or later. But good information game, and I think that's something we haven't really touched on because these rounds have been so incredibly fast-paced, but I think the droning game out of both of these teams has been fairly effective. They've not been throwing, drones away willy-nilly. They've not been giving up anything without finding some sort of value in return. I mean, we even saw a shock drone kill, so they're definitely trying to get the maximum value out of the utility that they're spending, and that just contributes to how good of a fight this is between the two teams. They're quite evenly matched, and not in a bad way. It's not two bad teams. It is two good teams going against one another, and they're currently struggling to make headway against one another, with breakout performances being just required out of those who are mechanically able to step up to the plate. And at the moment, that is most of the players here. So we've got a lot going on, as one of the windows will get opened by that ETA 12S, and there will be a vault-in happening to stock as well. So a bit of control being gained, and Turks once again trying to make their way forward, trying to see if there's any way into the building, any way forward. Sharton once again just trying to take out a drone. Rafa almost getting caught as he goes on cam. He almost gets wall banged through a softball there. At the moment, Turks are a little hesitant to push forward. They've got Guturo inside the building, but they don't know where to go from here as the Sense even backs off the side window.
The question is, can that blitz be just as important? No, is the question. Shorten takes him down. I completely jinxed him in that couple seconds, but as Shorten then gets refragged, another refrag happens. Dano, but too aggressive from the smoke. Beautiful shot from Shoxel, but Rafa, you don't really need to be swinging there. But somehow Shoxel just about keeps his life. But the HP advantage does weigh in the favor of the defense right now. As the timer ticks, 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 the attacks have to find a way to get this defuser down. As they at least still have a, like you said in the early game, the drone economy was so great in the prep phase. They still have so many drones to figure out where these players are and then find a way to push them out and get the diffuser down. But the last time Seeker Partners were in this situation, they're able to get, oh my god, Dana, what a shot. One tap shock still out of the world, and now another pick forever, and it's all left up to the lead in the 1v3, 30 seconds left. Can he get this done?
Well, Selim finding 3 kills wouldn't be unheard of, but with such low time, I really think he's going to struggle doing it, and no, he won't be able to. Dano finds another, and Sikapatas are able to secure themselves the 2 points of this overtime victory. It is not the full 3, it is not a regulation victory. Turks fought hard, they get a consolation prize, but Sikapatas come out victorious. They're able to convincingly roll over their opponents on the defensive side, as well as the attacking one in overtime. Just very strong performance out of them, and warming up into the game. It took a little while, but they came active early enough, which is a much different story to our Map 1 Chalet, which we had earlier. So it's good to see that contrast come in and out of these 2 maps, and that is some lovely siege for Voltage today. And with that, that's all of our games done already, Milo.
Yeah, great 2 games though to have. Obviously, the first game, it looked like it was going to be a stomp, but you had the Snakes battle it back a little bit, and then an overtime to come out to Titans of this siege so far, and they really showed it. Great siege along the board. Obviously, I've casted Voltage League twice, and both times I've casted an overtime game, which is kind of crazy, but what a game to end it off with. I gotta say, the heavy hitters, they looked like they were quiet in the first couple moments, but when they switched sides, they're like, okay, let's perform now. They pulled it up, and especially in that final round, and they were able to just about get it done. Seeker Partners, amazing siege from them, to be honest.
Right, and considering the stat difference, it's impressive to see them come out on top, because I think overall, definitely in terms of the stats, it was just everybody out of Turks was so strong. It looked like they were the better team statistically going into this matchup, but Sharton comes alive at the right time, and there's a reason he has a rating that was above 2.0. This time, it took a little bit longer. These are some strong opponents. He struggled getting into this match, but once he finally found into his own, Sikapatas managed to get into it.
Yeah. Obviously, we're gonna. I don't know if we're looking at standings to see how they've changed. I think were we looking at standings? Question mark. Yeah, let's look at standings to see how we have changed along the board to see who is really the heavy hitter. 8-6. It was 8-6 in the end. This game came very close, and it allows Seago Partners to go second place above Diavale.
All right, well, that's an important position to gain. So Diavoli are finding themselves still behind despite their victory today and the regulation victory. Psicopatas are able to stay ahead of that. And with that, not much has changed. Turks have moved down a little bit because they're getting outpaced by Diavoli, and that's exactly the threat that you've got. Diavoli got a good opponent today, a rather easy opponent for themselves. So they're definitely looking at capitalizing off of that. And Turks, they will need to catch up. They've got one more chance to do it next week, or I think next week. But anyway, the next play day, no matter when that is going to be the chance for anybody to still try to do some shifts in the standings, as NXT, I think, now should be locked into first place already. No, here comes the points in from Sikapatas. I think Sikapatas has a chance to jump NXT, but that depends on how and who NXT plays. So it's all in their hands. We've got a definitive seeding, and it definitely looks like Year of the Snake will be out of this. Valor has a chance to potentially fight their way back in, but considering they forfeited this week, I don't really see good opportunities for them either.
No, it doesn't look good. Obviously, we spoke about Turks Alphobe before behind, but actually, with their point from overtime, they have just at about jumped ahead of Diavolo because of round differential. They've been able to win games just a little bit more comfortable. And you got to say, you said it actually, when Year the State were making that sort of comeback, round differential is very important. Maybe if they won their games just a little bit more comfortable, locked in a little bit more earlier, they could still be above of Turks LFO. But with how close those points are at the top of the standings, it will come down to round difference. It will come down to who can really put away their games quicker. And NXT right now, you said it, they have looked into first place most likely. Seeker Partners will have to do as much as they can to really try and just knock them off at the moment, with both of those teams having one game remaining.
I mean, absolutely. It has to be a regulation victory for Psicopatas, if anything, and NXT have to lose, right? So it's absolutely in
Yeah.
NXT's hand. If they just win, it doesn't even matter how even an OT is good enough to put them far enough away from any of the other opponents. Of course, you know, a team like Wild is still going to get a chance to play, but all of the big hitters have played today. We've got the very important matches out of the way. So even with Wild, VIP, and Valor still having chances to score points both this and next week, we're looking at solidified standings, and I think that these top four are locked in. The question is just who's able to wrangle for a little bit more positioning.
Yeah, but that is the standings, and that is it from us, as that's the only two games we're going to be casting tonight. So, from me and Reprints, it's been amazing to have you all watching, and honestly, two great games to be casted. But thank you all for watching. Is there anything you want to end off with, Reprints?
I've got nothing to add.
Well, hope you all have a lovely rest of your night. And reminder, there'll be more games. I think there may be more games coming this week, but just keep an eye out on the Twitter account to see when the next games are coming out. And thank you all for watching. Everyone have a great rest of your night.